Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
Welcome back to the Vital MX MotoXpod show presented by Race Tech in Boyesen. We're back after about 2 weeks off, 4 or 5 weeks since we've been in the Texas studio. Lot to talk about. We hope you missed us and are ready for a big Loretta Lynn's wrap up. We have we've got some champions on the show tonight. One guy that's just not a champion. He's a loser. We're going to get into all that, but we have the 250 Pro Sport champion Gavin Towers coming on, the 250B Limited champion Jeremy Fappani. Then the women's motocross champion, Kyleigh Stallings, is going to come on. And then the guy that just didn't come through for us, did not win a championship, Jacob Hayes. He's going to jump on here and tell us why he got beat by everybody. I don't know. I'm really disappointed, TJ. I'm really disappointed in my guy, Jacob. Yeah, we're gonna have to give him a lot of crap. I feel like there's not a chance in hell that a guy of his caliber is going to go there. I mean, he should have won. Do you not? I mean, Heath Harrison's probably overall a better rider, but come on, Jacob.
Yeah,
I want to at least make him feel bad.
That's what I was about to say. We just, no matter what, whether he should have won or not, we're going to just pile on him, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think if Kyle Regal goes, he wins.
Absolutely. Of course, absolutely.
Anyway, all right, in studio, working the cameras, YouTube chat, Scott Thompson. What's up, Scotty?
What's up, man?
Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's so long, I almost forgot how to get here.
Yeah, you have to ask for Google Map directions.
Yeah, I had to ask Jeeves.
Also in studio, as you heard, TJ's back. TJ Smith, what's going on?
What's up, man?
And then on the phone, all the way from the UK, my buddy, Lewis Phillips. Lewis, how we doing?
Ciao, Jamie. Ciao.
Ciao.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about Italy here in a minute. How you feeling, Lewis? It's later there as usual. You're still not back in the United States with us, but soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I was meant to be back for Unadilla, wasn't I? And then things have come up. I'm kind of just flying by what's the saying? I'm flying by the
seat of my pants. Yep.
Seat of my pants. That makes much more sense. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants at the moment. I was meant to be back for Unadilla, then there's an event at KTM next week, which I have no idea what it is, but I was invited, so I felt like I should go.
Yeah.
And then now someone wants to do a podcast the following week, so I can't turn that down because that's going to be great. So, yeah, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants.
I like it. I'm ready for you to be back, but that means that I'll get to go to a couple of races. I'm going to Budds Creek and Ironman, it sounds like, so at least I get to go to a couple of races in your absence.
Well, I'm just making your life great.
Very true, very true. All right, our presenting sponsors, Boyesen. This is the Boyesen Open Discussion, brought to you by the Boyesen Factory Racing's Rider Support Program. Do you like to get discounts? And would you like, TJ, the opportunity to become a product development test rider?
Absolutely. Actually, yes.
Yes. Well, then you should go and join the Boyesen Factory Flyers at boyesen.com and apply today. You too, Scotty. I don't know if you've done it yet. I told you to do it. You don't listen very well, though, so get that done.
Yeah.
All right, Boyesen Open Discussion. What I want to start with is we're not far out from Motocross of Nations in Ernée, France. It's not that far away.
It's pretty far to be talking about it.
No, it's not. We're going to be announcing teams soon. It's not that far out. Why are you acting like a retard or like a dummy?
Easy.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the idiot. Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
It's not that far out.
We still have I guess a month before they put the team out?
No, I don't think so.
They're waiting until basically the end.
Lewis, we're not that far out. It's time to talk about Motocross of Nations.
Yeah, the issue is you've just made, you say you're a month away from them putting the team out, and that is probably true about the USA, but there are other countries.
Is there?
And they will be announcing, there's an announcement next week for Belgium. The Netherlands will probably be in 2 weeks. England are terrible at announcing a team. They can't. They find it really hard to do the most simple things, so that'll take a while. But yeah, announcements are incoming.
But we have pretty much most of those teams, you know who's going to be on there.
I don't think so.
There's good riders. They're going to have strong teams. I think the big thing, I guess the reason why for America is because we don't know what we're going to get.
That's true. Well, okay, speaking of the teams, there's a couple in particular, Lewis, and you'll have more information than the three of us, but the Netherlands is one that I feel like is a very stacked team. I think that's a team maybe even is a little bit of an underdog, at least from the American perspective. People aren't thinking about him because you've got Herlings, De Wolf if he's healthy. I don't know who's going to be healthy. Moosdijk, Vlaanderen, Koldenhoff. That team is a lot of people to pick from.
Powerhouse, yeah.
Yeah, that will be Hurlings, De Wolf, and Koldenhoff.
Okay. You know that for a fact, or that's just your?
I know that for 99%, unless something goes wrong. But and yeah, that is a team with like no weak link.
Right.
And I think people forget because Hurlings doesn't make it to the nations a lot because of injuries and whatnot. So people forget that when Hurlings is on the Dutch team becomes 10 times stronger.
Right.
And I think that's why it's sometimes underrated because I can't remember. The Dutch had a solid team last year, but I can't remember what they did because they were kind of just lost in the top 5. But add Jeffrey into the mix and it's a big change.
And De Wolf is 100% by then. I mean, like, I thought he was hurt.
He's more banged up than hurt, but he should be fine by then. It's not like he's got a broken leg or something like that.
Right.
Well, all right. So what are obviously being in France, the French team probably is one of the favorites. I'm assuming Fevre and Renault. And do we think Ferrandis maybe, or what do you think?
No, I think it will be Fevre, Beniston, and Renault.
They seem to have, like, they don't really like to bring the guys who are over here racing in America, do they?
Yeah, they don't like to bring the guys who are racing in America. They're very political. You probably don't know this, Jamie, but Vial didn't go. Vial was on the team in 4 years ago and got taken off of the team because they couldn't decide on where the Red Bull logo should go.
Oh, I remember that.
I did not know that.
So the French Federation went, you know what, you're off the team. Goodbye. We've had enough.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
Yeah, so I think that it's not their strongest team, but I think they will go Fevre, Beniston, Renault because it's easy, it's simple, there's no conflicts with any of those riders. I think I would bet money on that being their team.
Do you think that'll be a better team than the Netherlands?
No.
No, okay, I didn't think so.
Probably. You know what? It's probably close. I said that quite quickly.
Yeah.
It's probably quite close.
Well, we know how you and your friendship with Hurlings is going right now. So, like, whatever team he's on, we were rooting for that one.
You know what? The French are kind of another one that, like, I underestimate the French every single year.
Right.
Like when they won 5 in a row or whatever they did, every single year I was like, yeah, no way.
Right.
They'll be lucky to podium, and then they did it again. So I am guilty of that.
But they do that every year. They have I wouldn't call it a mediocre, but like an underrated team that comes through, and you're like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, like even last year, I don't think they should have done as well as they did last year.
Right.
I don't think anyone was expecting that, and yet they did. So
yeah, they upped their game. Who else do you feel are contenders? Like right now, obviously the U.S. probably not. We would like to believe we are, but Australia. Do
Why
you think?
not?
Well, we don't know who it's going to be, I guess, just yet. So it's.
Yeah, but you have many good riders. Sorry, we have many good riders.
But
I agree.
I think the problem is the reason why they're going to be that way is because it's so up in the air and we're waiting for so long because they won't just pick the team. You know what I mean? So the guys aren't going to have the time to get in the mindset to I'm going to be doing this and prepare for it. I mean, I wonder if they're waiting too late.
I think all those guys are going to be in race mode anyway. Barsha coming back this week. That'd be interesting to see how well he's riding.
Yeah.
I think the next couple of weeks are going to determine whether he's one of the main picks because I feel like he's probably, at least for me, he's on my pick for the team.
Barsha will lead a lap this weekend and maybe podium.
Okay. We're not talking about Unadilla yet, TJ.
We're talking about how's he going to come back?
Right.
I think he'll come back. I mean, he's been able to bounce back from injury and come back and ride strong.
What do you think, Scotty, for our team? Like, who are you kind of favoring?
For our picks?
Yeah, for Team USA.
I think you got to send AP and Deegan. I think that's only two people that
are locked in.
They're locked in, yeah.
Okay.
I thought we were going to see Barsha come back, but what is that?
Are you not listening? He's back this weekend.
He's going to be back this weekend?
You were messing with the camera, so
yeah. Well, no, I mean, what I'm saying is I don't think that's enough time for him to prove that he has the spot.
Wow.
I mean, he could. I just said. So we can all have opinions, but mine are all shit. Okay, cool. Y'all go back.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
I know your headphones were off.
I was over here doing my job.
Look, we're just trying to we're making fun of you.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Yeah, Lewis. What about Australia? Lawrence brothers. Clearly, will it be Mitch Evans again?
Yeah, it should. I mean, I kind of wouldn't be surprised because there seems to be a lot of Dean Ferris hype, which I disagree with. But why wouldn't you pick the Lawrence brothers and an MXGP rider who has a factory bike?
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you do that? So I would expect it to be that team, which is a great team, obviously. No one needs to explain how good the Lawrence brothers are. And Mitch Evans is fine. He's not having his best season and he's not very happy with his bike, but he's still more than capable. And the dirty little secret about the Nations that none of us want to admit because the Nations is so amazing, the dirty little secret is it's actually a very, very weak field and much weaker than we see at any other event in MXGP, America, or anything like that. It's actually such a weak field. So like a rider like Mitch Evans, who's 10th in MXGP, suddenly becomes 5th at the Nations because of the weak field.
Explain, because like I'm trying to wrap my brain around that because it's the best from each country. So what makes it weak? Like I almost feel like the weak guys aren't there.
Well, no, because for instance, take the Netherlands. Okay, Hurlings, De Wolf, Koldenhoff. That means Vlanderen sat at home. That means Mostijk sat at home. You get me? Like that's off the top of my head. There's more riders.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You're like it's strong at the top, but I'm talking like 8th back. There's just no name guys.
Sure. Okay.
And you don't need, and your all three riders don't have to have perfect motos every time. You can have a weaker rider.
Yeah, you can have a throwaway
who can run, in the top 10 and still win.
For instance, MX2 qualifying race at Red Bud last year, Hardy Munoz was 8th. When is he ever 8th?
Yeah, it's true.
Like, sorry, but I know that's harsh to say, but that's a fact. It's there in black and white. Josh Verrees, 10th.
Kind of blows my mind.
When has Josh Verrees been top 10 this year?
It's been a long, yeah. Well, I think at Hangtown his rookie season. That's about it.
So I know it's a dirty little secret, but none of us want to acknowledge because the Nations is great. But you know what? Not everything's perfect in life, Jamie, and you need to get your head out your ass and start and wake up to the real world.
Wake up!
Yeah.
Okay, one more question I have, one more country I want to talk about, get your thoughts on is...
Puerto Rico.
No, Belgium, because, again, you've got Everts and Lucas Koenen. I always say his name wrong. Koenen. You've got Geerts and Van Horbeck, who are all established riders, all talented. Who do you see that team being?
It is Geerts on a 450, Lucas Koenen on a 250, and Liam Everts in open on either a 250 or a 350, yet to be decided.
Okay. That
will be announced next Wednesday.
There you go. You heard it here. MotoXpod show. Breaking the internet.
Breaking news.
The internet was already broken by his Jeffrey Hurlings interview, but
that the Motocross the Nations is a weak field.
That's true. Lewis destroying the internet day in and day out. What are you most excited about Motocross the Nations? I know, if I'm not mistaken, your travel plans are pretty well locked in. You're going. What are you most excited about this year?
Yeah, obviously I'm going, Jamie. Come on, it's the Nations. I know it's a weak field, but still, it's the Nations. I booked a hotel a year and a half ago. I was very ready for this.
Jeez.
What was your question? What am I most excited
what are you most looking forward to? What are you expecting this year?
Well, if Chase goes, I'm most excited about getting Stewart and Chase in the same room and just making magic.
Okay, that could go a lot of ways, but all right, we're listening.
With a podcast machine.
Okay.
I mean, France is one of those interesting places, you know.
The city of love. Isn't Paris like the city of love? I mean,
There will be a podcast machine.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, if that is what I like about the nations. As a journalist, as we are, it opens up a lot of doors for new content and new ideas. So if Chase goes, I've got big plans for Chase, Jeremy, and myself, and a podcast machine.
Well, that'd be exciting. That'd be one more thing for us to listen to that you put out.
I would like to the whole, hopefully maybe Webb goes and then put Webb and
Coop.
Coop.
I don't think Coop's going.
No, I'm saying just Coop going and then have Hurlings in the room. That would be a great podcast.
Just have Coop and go to hang out.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Coop's doing Bursey, so I think the Jeffrey Cooper podcast, Bursey may be it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be one of those ones where I don't believe it will happen until I'm doing it.
Sure.
But we at least have a date or a weekend where it's on the cards.
I mean, have you talked to Coop about it?
Yeah, I cleared it with Coop like 2 months ago.
Oh,
that's
awesome.
I know that him and Jeffrey are friends, and I know that. So I obviously being new to America, I used the mutual friend of Jeffrey to break the ice with Coop.
Gotcha.
So I said to him, so I was talking to him about Jeffrey. And then I said, you know what I really want to do? Like, blah, blah, blah. I want to get you both on a couch and do a podcast, all of us together. And he was like, yeah, whenever Jeffrey's up for it, just let me know.
That'd be really good.
Hey, you need to see if you can introduce a little bit of alcohol into it. Just to get the guys to loosen up. I'm telling you, it's going to be,
It sounds like it's going to be a party.
Well, maybe I'll invite Jamie.
Depends on what kind of magic. You know, if we're only doing a podcast, I'm in. But if you want to make any other kind of magic, I might stay home.
Okay, well, I'll let you know. That will be in the invitation email.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I'm going to that. I don't know if I'm going to Motocross of Nations. I don't know if I'm going to Bursey. I just don't know anything.
We can't trust your work overseas?
We're about to get into that.
Okay.
But first, Scotty, your bike's almost back together. We're getting close.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Next time, just so you know, Racetech, they're developing the best combination of porting, cam timing, mapping, and related components to build world-class engines. Is a painstaking process. Racetech has spent an impressive number of hours doing R&D on the flow bench, dyno, CNC, and the track to create the Racetech power plan. If you follow the Racetech power plan and assemble the engine correctly, you can build an engine capable of competing with anything in the world. Were you aware of that?
I couldn't even tighten my drain bolt. So
Exactly. So next time, go to Racetech. They'll help you out. Get your engine. They do all kinds of engine work, not just suspension. Racetech.com for your engine work next time. All right? Got you?
Got it.
Got it. Okay.
Then I don't have to do it.
Yeah, then TJ doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Italy. We're going to let you go here in just a minute, Lewis, but you know a little bit about my trip to Italy. I got sent over there for the 2024 Gas intro for the new bikes.
Like almost a week of riding, right?
It was 2 days of riding, not a week.
I mean, I'm just saying, like all this riding, all this great stuff.
It was going to be basically a day and a half of riding.
Yeah.
Split between the Enduro off-road models and the Moto. We were at this really cool facility out in the country near Florence.
How are the tracks?
Well, the off-road track was pretty good.
No, but I mean, when you looked at them, were you excited to be able to ride the moto track and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, so
it wasn't great, but yeah, I was still excited.
He took James's advice and just tucked the front in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make it very far. I think Lewis, I got about an hour into my riding and hit the deck, and I spent the rest of the time in the hospital in Italy. Have you ever been to a hospital in a different country, Lewis, where you can't speak the language?
I feel like I have, but for some reason I can't remember it.
Okay. All right. Well, I remember.
That's how well it went.
Yeah. Well, I remember. So Michael might have been better off sending you to Italy. It didn't go well for me.
Well, it didn't go well for you, but you know what? You had a very unique experience, and no one else got that.
Okay. Look at Lewis being positive.
I'm about to say, he talks about he's the positive guy. Maybe he is right.
Yeah.
Maybe we misjudged this.
So yeah, I tucked the front, a little too much front brake in the off-road section, Scotty.
So the gas has really good front brakes.
Yeah, well, what I will tell you is I got to ride the 250 and 300 two-stroke fuel injected two-strokes.
Yeah,
I want one. Those bikes were a lot of fun. I was just getting a little overconfident because I'd been riding for a while that day, like an hour, and I was feeling good. And
Did you go mountain biking the next day after the wreck?
I rode an e-bike around the facility, one of the gas e-bikes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Just-
Michael said in the chat that you couldn't seem to be able to ride the dirt bikes,
But I could pedal on flat ground.
Yeah, because you. But you.
It's a big difference in
mountain bike
pedaling on
riding.
flat ground in a parking lot than going and riding.
Nope,
in
same
jumps.
thing.
This is disappointment.
Yeah,
This is just
it's just
pure
terrible on
disappointment.
your part.
Don't listen to the haters, Jamie. They're just jealous.
You and I know, people hate because of our success.
Oh wow, big-headed, Jamie.
That's you and I. You and
Let's keep
I.
your feet on the ground. Let's keep your feet on the ground.
You and
here,
I,
Jamie.
we
Jesus.
see
Keep
these
the bike on two wheels.
we see these hateful comments from people on social media that are just insecure and jealous of our awesomeness.
Yeah, I've been told I need to die more than I'd like this year. But,
Oh wow.
I also can't disagree with those people. So
I think that's terrible. Yeah, anyway, Italy didn't go as planned. We can talk a little bit more about that, but let's wrap up with Lewis. He's got some other stuff, and it's getting late there. So, hey, Lewis, thanks for jumping on here with us for a little bit. Always appreciate your time, and enjoy everything you've been doing lately.
can I ask one more question about Italy?
Absolutely.
Did you feel guilty that they had paid for your flight and they had paid for your hotel and they paid for entertainment and you didn't get to do the task that they had paid your expenses to do?
Not only did I feel guilty, I still feel guilty. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I
I can
feel-
imagine.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I didn't do my job.
You feel like the type of person you are?
I feel like a loser. But I was awesome a minute ago. Now I feel like a loser. Awesome. Peaks and valleys. Life is peaks and valleys. Yeah, it was a bummer.
ML said he finished a GNCC
I
with
thought ML
fractures
wasn't going to be listening.
and dislocated ribs. Cough, cough.
No, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Like Kiefer's going like, there's no way that you're walking around and not in pain the way you are if you broke ribs. And like,
I'll just read the chat.
yeah, I know. I mean, there's not a chance in hell. I didn't even have the strength to get up. Like I couldn't breathe. It was whatever. ML, go do something. Go back to Kahia and work on something. I don't know. Damn it.
I feel like an important detail of this story that you did leave out is that you spent 4 hours on a stretcher.
Oh yeah. Well, I was trying to let you get off here, but yeah, they're very, very strict on the backboard in Italy. Apparently, like they put me on a backboard. I was sitting, as you are in a hospital. I was there for hours, not allowed to get off that backboard until they X-rayed me. I sat up because I had to pee, and I kind of scooted the backboard out from under me. And one of the nurses or the guy, whatever, paramedics, he's like, no. Came back over there, started putting it back on. They had me in a neck brace.
I think it's because you're an American. They just didn't like you.
Maybe. I was told that they're pretty weird about that over there, but yeah, until I got x-rays and was checked out, I was not allowed out of all that crap. So I spent 4 hours laying on a fucking backboard.
Yeah, I'm
had
pretty
to do that.
convinced in Italy that if you broke your finger, they would put you on a backboard.
They were definitely very serious about it. It sucked. Maybe that's why my back hurts right now. Can I sue?
I
Yes.
just pictured that video it was from like a soccer game or something where they went to go pick the guy up, but he like stood over him and he just lifted his face right into his nuts. Like he was trying to.
Do we know what he's talking about, or
He
do we
was trying
move
to
on?
pick up
We
the
move on.
stretcher.
Okay.
And he put the guy's face right into his ass. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, interesting. All right, hey Lewis, we're gonna go ahead and let you go. This thing is turned.
Okay.
Yeah, the direction of the
Make
show
a
is
joke.
turned. So yeah.
I love this. Okay, yes, thank you.
All right.
My bad.
We'll talk to you soon, Lewis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for letting me ruin your show.
Never. You're great. Thank you.
See ya.
See ya. All right, Lewis Phillips, everybody. Yeah, you lost me for a second, but I'm with you. I'll tell you what, we only got a couple more minutes. They put me in the ambulance, and they're driving down the road to get to the main road, and it's bumpy. And they had to be doing 50 miles an hour. Like, they're hitting these potholes, and I'm like going, the van's tilting, back and forth.
Like Louisiana
And I'm
roads?
literally yelling, slow, slow, slow. And then they're translating and trying to get her to slow down. I mean, she was slamming me all over the van.
I'm telling you, it's because you're American and they hate you.
Could be. It was tough that we had to find somebody that could kind of translate. It took a while. And yeah, they said 2 broke ribs. What you laughing at?
They're getting
I'm
back.
trying to figure out what ML's trying to say.
They're getting back at you for World War II.
World War II? Oh, I was lost again. All right, we got to get a guest on here in a second. But yeah, so Unadilla is coming up.
Yeah.
So I'm
Hold
going
on, hold on. I have one thing I want to say about the Italy thing
Alrighty.
is like you even admitted that you started riding over your head a little bit. Like you were there.
I didn't say I was riding over my head. I said I was going. I started going faster and faster.
No,
and
you
I was
said-
getting overly confident.
Okay, that's
But
riding
That's kind of the
over
same
your
thing,
head.
yeah.
Like literally,
You had a job to do.
And you failed.
Like why
I
would
don't-
you start pushing that hard? Just ride the bike.
I don't feel like I was pushing that hard. I was just trying to go a
Obviously.
little faster. There's a difference. Like I wasn't like going to the max. I was just like, I can take this corner a little faster than I did the lap
Obviously,
before.
you couldn't though.
I could have had I not tapped the
Hey,
back
maybe you
brake.
should
or
go
the
over
front
there.
brake.
ML said go over there, give him a pat on the back.
Yeah, I was trying to do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, please do not give me a pat on the back.
Yeah.
I would not like that at all. But yeah, I was just going into the corner, and the ground in this particular section was like all this mowed tall grass. It was like riding on straw. That's what it looked like.
Then you should. Oh, this is very slick. Maybe I shouldn't honk on these brand new gas.
I didn't. I
brakes.
barely tapped the front brake, and I didn't feel like I tapped it that hard, much harder than I had any other lap. But this lap, when I tapped the front brake, half a second later, I was flat on the ground and couldn't breathe anymore. So it's part, dude. Shut up! You can't even tighten up a drain bolt. You're not even right. You can't even ride right now.
I wasn't being paid to tighten a drain bolt.
Yeah, gosh.
I was paid to test these new bikes, and I was testing them. Damn it!
Okay.
I
tested you.
I was testing the front brake. And listen, we have our first guest online, and tonight he is brought to you by FXR, which is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best product possible. So visit fxrracing.com to see the numerous gear lines and colorways, and even check out their snow lines and their casual wear. Tonight, FXR brings us, he is from Monster Energy, NSA, Yamaha, factory amateur team. He's the 250 Pro Sport champion, Gavin Towers. What's up, Gavin?
What's up, guys?
Not a lot, man. I'm excited to talk to you. Has it all settled in, man? Do you realize you are a Loretta Lynn's champion?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's definitely how the year started, and then getting faster and stuff, and then the first regional. I mean, it kind of shattered a little bit of hopes, and I definitely did not think it was going to be in the cards, but kind of pushed through it, and yeah, and definitely a little bit more throughout this week. But I was a little more in shock throughout the last couple of days, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that when you were like you're qualifying, like you said, everything wasn't lining up where you rolled into Loretta's thinking, "Hey, I'm about to walk away with gold this weekend."
No, definitely not. Like there was no way. Like even when, right after it happened, I still just did. There's a lot of doubts. Even going to the regional,
right?
There was a ton of doubts where I was just like, man, I need to get this done. But at the same time, like, will it hold up? Will it not hold up? But we pulled through, and it was good.
Well, the good part was it wasn't just you did good in the mud race. Every moto, I got to watch all of them, and every moto you were pushing, moving forward, or like holding your own up front.
No, definitely it was good. I struggled a little bit with my fitness, but I mean it was kind of expected a little bit, just from the lack of time I had just on my bike, because with riding with my broken collarbone, I ended up displacing a little piece, which it was nothing like the doctor did or anything really, but when I did race, it pulled a little piece, so it made it take a little bit longer to heal. So it took about 6 weeks which left me with little time on the bike. So
yeah,
ended up having like 6 days. So, but I did also. It's hard, when you're that close, you don't want to smoke yourself out and be behind the 8 ball even more. So it was good. I felt like I was building throughout the week, so I was really happy about that, and just try to stay as consistent as possible. And that's ended up what got me the championship. So it was awesome.
Yeah, you mentioned consistency. which obviously is the key at Loretta's with a 3-moto format. Very difficult to do when the conditions are what they are this year. I mean, it was unbelievable how it was from Monday to Wednesday to Saturday. Just incredible. Like the weather was not consistent, made it very difficult to be consistent on the track. Yeah, definitely. That was probably the gnarliest mud moto I've ever done. And growing up in PA, like it rains, and I said this on the podium. I was like, man, it's like Steel City back in the day. I'm pretty sure I never went to that track when it was dry. Same with High Point. I swear every amateur event, it was raining or it was muddy, and so you kind of had to get used to it. But that was something completely different. But it was fun. I mean, once I got out of the gate, I didn't even set my whole shot device, and I was the only guy out there, I'm pretty sure, without a scoop. And I ran the new 34 from Dunlop, and even Rob Fox asked me, he's like, what was the point of not running the scoop? And I was like, it just seemed pretty slippery out there. Like the base looked super hard. So I was like, I don't think I should. Me and my mechanic and I were talking. We were like, let's just not run the scoop. And it worked out. No whole shot device, came out good. And then second turn, I got blasted with mud, and I was like, I'm just letting this kid go. It was like, I just want to stay up and get through the first lap because no sight laps. No one probably would have taken the sight lap anyway, but still, you're just going out there sending it. And I definitely was not expecting the conditions that were out there. I was expecting a little bit muddy, but rideable. But that was insane. In the Storyland, you're just sinking your bike, and I'm just like, wow. Yeah. On top of not falling, you're just like, please, bike, get through it. When I saw Mark, it was early in the moto, I think lap 2 or 3. It happened to him early on, and he was my biggest title threat. He had, I think, 3-point buffer over me, and I think I had a 3-point buffer over Dax. So it was close, but not super close. I definitely needed a mistake from him. And then when I saw that, I was a little nervous, but I was trying to keep my head focused, but to kind of just stay up. And then, once those thoughts to stay up, and then the last couple laps, I'm like, all right, we know the track, we know where the mud holes are. Now the bike just needs to survive, but it was good. I was pumped when I came across the finish line, that's for sure. Yeah, Scotty, those conditions that he just said, it was kind of fun. That didn't look fun to me at all.
No, it made me very glad that I was just sitting on the couch watching it.
I'm glad that hopefully next year is my first year to race it, not this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Scotty. Sorry.
Hey, so, the week is kind of already planned when you get there. You it had the times without the weather delay, you already know the exact time that you're going to race, and you can kind of mentally prepare yourself. When it starts getting these weather delays where it was, it's like, all right, we're going to delay for a few minutes, and then, then it was hours, and then the next day is like, we're supposed to have sunny, but then it did again, and then, with all those different delays and stuff, how does that change, your mental preparation for the race that's upcoming? Do you feel like that kind of turned into a strength for you, or how did you kind of handle the change in plans?
It didn't really affect me too much. I feel like I've been a pretty good, a lot more mentally strong. I've definitely worked on that a lot more this year. So that wasn't too bad. It really, the most hard, I think, moment I had of the week was sitting on the gate for final moto of 250 Pro Sport, where I knew I had a shot. The track was you didn't know what the track was going to be. Like I said, with no sight lap and stuff, and watching guys, I mean, the 65s were coming off, and I was like, all right, they look bad, but it doesn't look. It's actually impressive that they were even getting around the track. But I think we sat on the line for I remember looking at my watch, and all I just kept doing was try to keep my heart rate down because I was just watching it. And then I think we sat on there for 20 minutes, and I think that was mentally just you're ready to roll, but don't know when this track prep's going to be done, and then you got fired up, and it's not like you have that sight lap to kind of cool down, get your nerves under control. So last year I was in the title fight going into the last moto, but I ended up crashing and kind of screwing me a little bit. So that's definitely not what I want to do this year. And then the mud motos, it's just everything's just, you don't know what's going to happen. So that was definitely, I think, the hardest thing for me mentally, even with all the delays and stuff like that. And we had a day off. I think it was Thursday. So it was the day after we rode 2 motos. And that was actually nice because I was pretty smoked from that day. Mm-hmm. I think 2 podiums that day, 2 thirds. And that 530 moto took a lot out of me. So I was it sucked, but I was pretty fortunate to kind of get a little bit of a day break on me.
What was the reasoning? I know a lot of guys, they do pro sport and then go straight to the pros? I know last year you didn't. You hung around in the pro-am stuff again. What was the choices behind that?
That was just mainly, I knew I had some different pro, but not for a team like a factory team. It was more just like some certain satellite teams. And I was really fortunate to have those, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to, everybody wants to be on a factory team, and I believe that I was capable of that. I just needed a little bit more time. So I definitely got an eye opener when I raced I raced a pro race, but I ended up tearing my ACL fully there year, and it gave me a big eye opener of how hard this sport actually is, and I think it was for the better. So I went home and got 6 months off, and really thought of the sport and how much I'm gonna put into it. So coming back, I was definitely a lot hungrier and ready for to just prove myself, and it's definitely worked. I definitely am happy with my decision, but that was my main decision. I feel like, all right, if I do good next year again in A, those satellite teams or those secondhand or those secondary teams are always going to be there.
Yeah.
But why not risk it and get another shot at a factory team? So that was kind of my choice behind that. And unless I absolutely just killed it last year, there was really no. I was kind of planning on doing 2 years. My team and I were planning on that just in general, because I moved up to big. I definitely stay on mini bikes a little bit later than most, but some people have that transition year on 125s. I just went super mini B, so doing two, not too bad for me.
Yeah, I found it interesting what you said about you did a pro race and it was an eye opener. So at that point, you kind of have to, like you said, reevaluate what you're doing. What were the changes that you made in your program to prepare you now that you kind of had a little taste of what it's like in the pros?
I just think it was a little bit of I started working with Gareth Swanepoel. I started working with before Loretta's last year and riding with the guys, but I didn't do his off the bike program. And then when I was able to do that this year, that was a big transition. It helped a lot. It helped me have more balance in my riding and stuff like that, because he does both. On and off the bike stuff for the star team, and it's awesome being able to train with those guys and just learn from Gareth and all of the guys there. So I was fortunate enough that way, and then I'm really just the injury put me through a lot. That 6 months, you have a lot of time to think, and I was glad I was home, because I would definitely be struggling if I was down south around dirt bikes all the time. But it just gave me a reset, and I feel like that was a big deal for me. I just felt like I just reset my whole mindset, and I really worked on myself, and then worked on my fitness for sure. And then when I got back, I was so ready. And I definitely struggled a little bit, but once I started going fast, I was like, all right, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So with this victory, how do you feel like it changes the trajectory of you turning pro?
It definitely changes a little bit, but I feel like I have a general plan of what I'm gonna do for right now. As of right now, I'm not gonna do any of the last three right now. But with that being said, I'm definitely doing futures next year, which is good for me because I haven't had a lot of time on Supercross. I did some futures, made them on the real Supercross track, and I had some success there. But I just feel like I need a little bit more time and a full off season, because I only had a couple weeks when those futures were going on, and then obviously last year when everybody's on Supercross, I was out with a torn ACL, so. I missed a lot of time on Supercross, so with that, I feel like it would be good for me to just get some more time. And you get a lot of time when you race the futures on the actual Supercross track, which is you need that when you're transitioning to the pros.
I got you. Does the win also change your perspective of your amateur career at all in any ways?
Oh, definitely. It was going to be hard to leave amateurs without Other Islands Championship, especially with how many times I've gone. I know my first time having even a podium there was 2018. So even though I had gone for so long, it was really until I, cybered school and started really training that I ever found success down there. I mean, I had top 10s, a top 5 in like a mud moto every once in a while, like 85s. But for the most part, like never really had any real success. And even then, I would just podium. I was always there, but never really a top guy. And so it's kind of definitely changed over. I think I feel from my second year of Super Mini to now. So, but I was like, if I leave amateurs, make or break of your pro career. But it's cool to come out of amateurs with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. You want a championship if it's available. You mentioned futures a minute ago and sitting out, and you watched two of your bigger competitors, Dax and Bennick and Mark, finish race futures and has some success, obviously. And did that affect your confidence at all going into Loretta's, knowing you were going to face these guys that have had a little bit more experience at almost the pro level?
I mean, not really. I mean, definitely with Dax, I mean, I was riding with him every day. I mean, that was definitely it wasn't hard, but it was just like we elevated each other a lot, and it definitely showed that we were we both ended up with the championship. I didn't feel personally like I was the second fastest guy. I just stayed a little bit more consistent, but I feel if I wouldn't have got hurt, it wouldn't have changed anything. But I mean, I feel like our speed was just unreal. Like as us two, it was pretty crazy. Some of the days at the farm, us two were going real fast. So, but yeah, I think just a little bit. The only thing that really steered me a little lack of confidence was I was lacking a lot of racing.
Sure.
I didn't race in spring nationals. I only had race area qualifier and then a regional. Like I really only did, 10 motos racing before I went to Loretta's this year. So, like I said, it's just, that was the only thing I lost a little lack of confidence. It's just the lack of racing, but my racecraft actually was pretty good. So I can't really complain too much.
Yeah, you look good. That's for sure. You didn't look like you were missing much.
Right. So you talked about the lack of racing. Are you going to do some arena cross during the fall and the winter's time to get more gate drops as you get ready for Supercross?
I think I'm going to end up doing probably minios this year. Just that'll help me keep racing a little bit and stuff like that. So for the most part, that'll probably be my main race. But, I'm not really sure other than that moving forward right now.
I want to ask you a couple Loretta Lynn's specific questions because I'm kind of working on an article, and there's so much hype behind Loretta's. It's considered the biggest amateur national in the country, in the world. The results, though, do they really matter? I wonder that sometimes, right? There's guys that have won lots of Loretta's championships, and then they go to the pros and they don't win any championships. And some guys maybe win one championship at Loretta's and they win lots of pro championships. So I wonder sometimes if the hype really matches the results, what the results bring. What do you think about Loretta's and what it means for an amateur moving into the pros, and does it really have that much effect?
It's funny you asked this. I was definitely just talking to Ryan Villapoto over the weekend at Loretta's about kind of similar question, but he said and I agree with it for 100%. Loretta's gets you noticed, puts your name out there. Yeah, it's great. I feel like, is it 100% important? For sure. I mean, it's definitely an important race, but it gets you out there, gets your name out there, and it helps you, get the ride you're looking for or hoping for or something like that. So it does get you noticed, but it's not going to make or break your, your pro career. I mean, some people are just, really good at Loretta's. I mean, the track, I raced there my first time in 2010, so it's not like I don't know the track.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you only race there once a year, but definitely know it better than some guy who's just, raced it the last 2 years or something like that. So it's not going to make or break your pro career, but it definitely helps you get noticed. And then, but with all the new future stuff and the combine and everything like that, those help a lot because those are prestigious, wins, and those futures events. That's what teams are looking for anymore. It's just if you can ride Supercross. I mean, if you can ride Supercross, your chances of getting a pro deal are beyond higher than if you go win a championship of those.
It's funny that you mentioned Villapoto as the answer to that question, because I reached out to Craig Martin, who used to be the team manager of Team Green when Ryan was doing it, and that was his exact answer. Like, it may not make or break your career, but if you get noticed, it definitely gives you more opportunity for teams to see you, even if you're not winning championships. If you do really well there, if you handle the adversity of the weather and delays and all the different things, that's what the teams are looking for. So your answer actually matches a lot of what Craig said. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. Like, teams definitely, they're going to look at speed and stuff like that, and your consistency, and, how you battle from, like I said, different adversity with weather, and even just, if you crash off the start or something, like, you fight back or just like give up, like stuff like that. No, 100%. They're kind of looking at a little bit of everything, especially in the main classes, like your super mini, your schoolboy 250B, and, into even the pros and stuff like that.
Yep, exactly.
So if you're going to do futures next year, are you going to do like the old school path and go after Supercross, start the outdoor nationals as a pro?
I'm not really 100% sure yet. That would, I hope to be the plan, but
right. That's
like
kind of
what
what your goals are pointing towards right now, finding a team to do that.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So that's kind of my goal. For sure, the futures, and then kind of figure it out from there.
Gotcha.
So.
It's a long way off in the distance there, TJ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at his
career
plan.
path so
his
far.
Career path.
Sure.
It is obviously like y'all have got a really good plan. A lot of people in the chat are commenting about the people around you, and you have like a good game
program.
plan. Yeah, moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of great people behind me, and definitely a lot of people that have my back, which is awesome. You need that for sure in this sport.
Yeah, Gavin, with the competition that you had this championship, it was kind of supposed to be the Bennett, Julian Beaumare, maybe a couple other guys are supposed to be in there as well. But when you get in there and you kind of win something that somebody else was expected, how was that camaraderie with them after the fact? Were they supportive of you? How did it kind of? Do you talk to those guys a lot? Just kind of go into that a little bit.
Do you know how old they are?
They had a knife fight afterwards.
Yeah, that's why I asked. You never know, man.
They met in the octagon after.
Yeah, they go. Yeah.
No, I don't really talk to like anybody. I like running the real racers or anything, but I know a lot of people probably wrote me off a little bit for the outside of the people who were watching me every day.
Right.
And even some of, like, not saying that some of them had their, I mean, everybody, even me, like, it's hard to go into a race when you're not 100% and I relied on a lot of my fitness, and with that being kind of not out of the question, but it was a lot harder. So, but yeah, like, I don't really talk to a lot of my competition, but me and Dax, I mean, we train together, so we see each other almost every day. So we'll talk for sure, but as for everybody else, not too much. I mean, Avery Long, he's on my team, but and we're pretty good friends. So there's a couple in there, but for the main for a lot of the top guys, like outside of like Avery and Dax, like I don't really talk to a lot of them. But no, everybody was pretty pumped. Like, it was, everybody on the gate knows how hard it is, like, to do it, or if they have done it or haven't. I mean, it's not easy to do. So, I mean,
he told Daxon, "Hey, F you," and then Daxon said, "Look at that Open Pro Sport 111, baby."
Yeah. No, he was riding good all week. It was, it was cool.
But when we have Jacob Hayes on here in a little bit, I'm going to talk some smack, though. Getting beat by a bunch of kids.
I remember I saw him the first moto, and I don't remember. Like, I think he was, because he always had his butt patch in class of 2011. I was like, man, that's kind of wild to think back on. I think I was on my junior 50s that year, and I ended up breaking my wrist at Lourdes that year.
Oh, wow.
Me and another rider tangled up, but no, it's cool when some of those guys come back and you get to battle with them. It's because even when they beat you, it just shows like how gnarly, even when you're going to transition to pro, like how gnarly these dudes are. Like, he's an ex-pro and he's still that good. So
I like it, but I'm definitely going to talk trash when he gets on the phone a little bit.
So You have been to Loretta's now 12 times. Now, this is going to be an off-the-wall question.
I'm just letting you know. No, I'm sorry. I threw you off 10 minutes.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. 12 times. When your pro career is over, are you going to pull like a Barry Karsten and see if you can get the most amount of times at Loretta's?
He doesn't know what he's going to do when he's 60 years old.
I'm just saying, you got to put in the future. Put this in his mind.
Kid doesn't. To this kid, like Barry Carson's a dinosaur. It's like,
oh, do you know who Barry Karsten is?
That guy. Everybody knows who Barry Karsten is. That guy's he's been riding. Oh my gosh, I remember seeing him at one of my first races. I mean, he's from. I think they're from New Jersey. I think. Yeah. So, I mean, me being from Pennsylvania, I would see him a good bit. So, I mean, he was always riding around, and now he's still riding. I don't know, man. I hope I can be as cool as him when I'm 60 years old.
So I'm laughing because a kid Gavin's age is like, I can't even imagine being that old, let alone what I'm going to do. He's, to us, like, we're not old, but to him, that guy's like freaking father time.
Yeah. I just see like you've already got 12 years. So a lot of guys go like one or two times and then, he's already like ahead of the game.
Sure.
He could have like the most Lorettas ever.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, that race is awesome, but I don't know. Like, it'll be cool to go back, eventually. But, But I'm definitely gonna miss it. It's like it's a part of your summer every year for since my first year was 2010. I mean, that's crazy to look back on. I mean, it's 13 years ago, and it's wild and how fast the time goes. So. Yeah, I'll definitely be back for sure one day. I don't know about like as many as he does. That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, exactly. Gavin Towers tonight, brought to you by FXR. I've got a couple more questions for you real quick. We had a listener question. He wants your best Wes Kane story. Wes was very, very high on you. And like, what's the connection there? And what's your best Wes Kane story?
The connection there is just, it's kind of funny. I think it was one of my first years even getting on the podium at, I think it was Minio's, and I saw him at like a Waffle House, and I was just a little kid. I was scared to go up to him. I don't even think I ended up going up to him, and I think that was late 2017, and then I moved into 2018. Is kind of when I transitioned to training a lot more, so started getting better. I had a good Loretta's podium for my first time, and then went to the Baja and went 12 for 12 moto wins, and then went to Ponca. And I think I won both or like 385 classes, like started winning a good bit. And then went to Minio's and won like 3 or 4 more titles. And that's when he really started noticing me. And then we just talked a lot. And then he would come over and he would have dinner with us some nights. And then we just built a relationship.
Cool.
So it's pretty awesome. Like he's a super big supporter, and it's awesome to have him in my corner.
Yeah, that's a very cool story.
No, it's awesome. He's great dude. So I don't know about my best story. I mean, shoot, I don't know. I think the probably the coolest one I have is just when he at Baja he gave me the Hard Charger Award, and he gave me an axe, and it's a badass axe, and I think it's a real axe, so it's cool, and he's always just said, keep sharpening your axe, Gavin, and it's cool. But no, it's awesome. Like he's a big supporter, and it's definitely it's cool to have him.
I just looked it up. Barry's been to Loretta's 14 times, so you're close.
Oh wow, see that's not as many as I would have thought.
Yeah, I know.
What about Mike Brown?
Yeah, like I think Alessi and that's different. So, I was gonna say they have like 11 championships, but that was sometimes 2 in 1 year. So
that's what I'm saying. Every year. Barry's been 14 years, so Gavin's close.
It wouldn't take that many. Yeah. All right, I got one more for you before we let you go, and it's about family sacrifice. Loretta's amateur motocross in general at the highest level, there's a lot of family sacrifice. You just talk about your parent support and the support of the people behind you and what that means to you to allow you to get to the level you're at.
Yeah, my family is backed me 100%, and there's no way I can do it without them. Like I'm really close to my mom, my dad, and my sister, so it's awesome. And there was times where my dad I felt horrible, and looking back on it now, like it put a lot of strain on, my definitely them three more than me, because I had just a goal and I just kept striving towards my goal, and it kind of kept me a little bit distracted from what was going on. So, but now that me being older and kind of looking back on that, they made huge sacrifices. My sister, there's no way, like with her, she matured very, very fast. So, and she did a lot of stuff on her own at a very young age. So without her being able to do that, because my mom, she works, so it's not like she's just a stay-at-home mom. And my dad was traveling a lot with me, where my mom couldn't go. So it took all of us making a sacrifice, but especially my mom and my sister, and definitely even my dad. So there's just no way I could do it without them, and I'm super fortunate for their support and their continuing support.
I love that you recognize that, man. I didn't know much about you. I saw your reaction on the podium. I thought you seemed like a really good kid, and then that reaction right there, man, that made me. I'm a fan. I'm a Gavin Towers fan. TJ. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Daxton, but
you.
Daxton just dropped a step.
Yeah, just dropped a step. Well, I've got to know Gavin a little bit through the years, and he's a good kid.
Yeah. Oh, he probably doesn't know that Smith is your kid.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, he actually Snapchatted me. He was like,
okay.
Your dad, you're going to be on his show. And I was like, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
No. What he said to Doc was, he's like, oh, yeah, I got to do some podcast.
I said I got to do a show. I'll get at it. I said show. I definitely said show.
Hey, you just remember this when you become a star in the pro ranks, that the MotoXpod show reached out to you. And some of those other shows, they don't care about amateurs so much. So we're your show. We got you locked in. You're our guy.
Awesome.
Just don't mess. He's his fan now, but don't mess up his fantasy league. And then
I don't care about fantasy that much.
Okay.
No, I don't get. I'm not one of those guys that gets mad over fantasy.
Okay.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm so used to doing bad.
Yeah.
I'm so used to doing bad at fantasy that I don't really care when people do. Like, I've never been the guy that's like, F that dude, unless it's like, hey, Ray.
I can't wait. I just thought about that. Gavin's going to get that in a couple of years. He's gonna get people going, dude, you totally screwed me.
Some of those guys are going to get it tomorrow or Saturday.
Oh, that's true.
Those guys, yeah. Some of those guys.
100%.
I think Mark is racing. Fitness is racing, so yeah, somebody will pick him, and he might have a bad moto, and they're gonna be like, "F that kid."
I'm gonna text Mark's brother. I know Luke, his older brother.
We've had Mark on the show, so
yeah.
We'll see how, I'll text him ahead of time, like, how you feeling today? Because he might be on my team. All right, Gavin, we'll let you go, man. But, hey, thank you for your time. It's been really fun getting to know you a little bit.
No, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk to you soon and look forward to seeing you at the pro races soon, man.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, take care. See you.
Later.
Yep. Gavin Towers, brought to you by FXR. Yeah, he was cool, man. And his answer about his family, that was a big one. Like, I like that answer. Yeah, you can tell that he knows like what his family's gone through, and I think a lot of these kids do. But like the way he spoke about it was very impressive.
And also, I forget how old he is, but he's a little older than a lot of the guys turning pro. You know what I'm talking about?
Is he?
Yeah, I want to say he's like. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he was 20.
Nobody cares how old people are.
No.
Got him.
He got me. So, anyways, but no, he's very mature. He's always been that way, and just obviously, his family did a good job raising him, because he's like, every time I've been around him, he doesn't really know me, but he comes. I mean, we talk and
polite,
very polite.
I will say that the sport has kind of gotten better about that. I feel like the days of your who was the guy? I can't remember his name now. He rode
story.
No, he rode for Mitch Payton. He was, and then he kind of
Adam Cianciarulo.
No, the guy that had frosted blonde hair. I can't believe
Jeremy McGrath.
No, I can't believe I'm dropping his name.
Grant
right
Langston.
Now. No, it was recent. Not recent. It was like Stroop, Austin Stroop.
Oh, Austin Stroop. Yeah, okay.
And then the J Law and the disrespect and the bad boy and having to be kind of.
Most of these kids are pretty good.
Oh, they're there.
We have another one of the championship kids on the line right now. We're about to find out if he's a good kid or a punk kid.
Okay,
we'll get him on the line. He's going to be brought to you tonight by W. W is your source for all things wheels. If you're looking for a complete set of wheels for your bike, we have something for every budget. If you want to use the same wheels used by Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Malcolm Stewart, Christian Craig, Chad Reed, and McGrath, just name a few, we have what you need. We have the exclusive W Edge wheel set starting at $799. And as the exclusive importer of Hahn, Kite, and Talon hubs, as well as Excel and DID wheels. Rims, we can build your dream wheels. Visit WUSA. Use promo code MotoXpod Show to save. Tonight, WUSA brings us from Orange Brigade, Jeremy Fappani. What's up, Jeremy?
How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, a polite kid.
Oh, you like him already?
We're already there.
Yep, I think he's a good
He
one.
heard us. He knew he had to come in hot.
Are you going to frost the tips of the hair? Is that coming?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's not cool in 2023, but it'd probably be cool like 2026 because all that crap's coming back.
Oh, that's true.
Kitchen's been doing it.
Yeah, Kitchen's.
Yeah.
Kitchen will do some weird hair stuff. Kitchen's cool.
Okay.
Jeremy, man, yeah, nice to meet you. Orange Brigade, one of Daniel Blair's guys, and DB's my homie. So, yeah, we were glad to have you on. Congratulations on a championship.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Daniel, he's a great guy. I've been pumped. He's been great to work with so far. So yeah.
So you do know about his illustrious music career, right?
Oh yeah. I discovered that about a month or so after meeting Daniel, and then didn't know he was a big rock guy. So had to tease him a little bit about that. But yeah.
I just figured he walked around telling everybody, but
no, he doesn't. I do.
I know. I was just making a joke towards
that's my kind of music, Jeremy. So Daniel actually makes me really, really mad because he's a great singer. He's great in the booth. He was a great rider. I mean, he won a regional arena cross champion. He's better than I am.
Yeah.
He's all around.
Yeah, he's too good at too many things, and I think it's kind of bullcrap. It's not really fair.
We know you're a fan because that's our opening song.
That is, yeah. His one
I
of
was
his
about to
songs.
say, so he doesn't go around telling everybody, hey, if you want to know my band, to go listen to the intro.
No,
of the
he does not.
Oh, okay.
No,
I figured that was the first thing he said to
Let's
people.
talk about Jeremy Fappani.
Okay. Let's do it.
Jeremy, how does the 250B limited champion feel? Has it set in? Were you expecting it? What does it feel like almost a week later or 4 days later?
Yeah, so we're pumped. It was a really good week for me. Coming from Super Minis last year, I got my first title there last year.
Yep.
And then we were in discussion with KTM and Daniel and Nate Dogg. We were discussing on whether to do 250 or 125 class, and we all thought it'd be better to do 250. I'm a little bit of a taller kid, and I don't really like revving the bike too much. So I've always thought that a 250 is going to fit me better than a 125. So everyone stood behind me on that. And then, we were just pumped. Everything worked out really good for us, having a really good week. Only had one down moto, but, that's a part of it when you're doing 6 hard motos in a week with conditions changing all the time. But, we were just pumped. Everything worked out so good. So, it was a great week for us.
Yeah, remind me, was the 8th in the 450B race 2, was that when you tipped over? And no, you got 3rd. So what happened in the 8th?
So in the 8th, it was one of those motos where it was in between like a mud moto and a normal moto. And so you still had to send it pretty good to go fast. And I landed on a tabletop going into the first sand sweeper and just lost the bike under me. And then once I got back up, just didn't have the best flow, but ended up 8th or so in that moto. So, but just having one bad moto. But besides that, it was a great week for us.
Yeah, because you almost had another bad moto on Friday and somehow came from dead last to third. I think that was pretty significant.
Yeah, that was probably one of my best motos I've ever done. Got off to a great start. And then, just didn't know what to expect on the track too much, with no sight lap. Tried to watch some film before, but track changed so much in between the hour before I went up, And then, just went over that little roller. Didn't expect the ruts to be that tight. Got top heavy, and then, just tipped over. Couldn't get the bike started, and I thought the race was done. And then, it was just an insane moto. That track was so gnarly. Like the amount of water standing in the ruts, it was a shocker. I never thought a track could get that gnarly, and it was just an insane experience to race on a track like that, and it was wild.
Yeah, with all those circumstances being that, and the fact that you had 5 out of 6 motos on the podium, was that your expectations going into this championship? And then how does that kind of translate you going into the A class next year? How do you carry the momentum?
Yeah, so we going into this year, it was, since we went the 250 route, it was more of just a year to build. There weren't many expectations at all coming into this year, but just myself, I don't want to go out and race just to go race. You know, I'm still wanting to come out and do the best I can, and I feel which I feel is winning every weekend what I can achieve. So, yeah, we had a great week, and then I'll still be B. I can still race B next year, so I'll race the B mod class, go against some faster guys next year. But I ended up having surgery yesterday on my knee. I've been dealing with some knee problems for about 2 years now. So about 2 years ago in the mini senior class, I blew out my ACL and meniscus. But we didn't feel like it was the right time to get surgery because my growth plates, they wouldn't have been able to do the surgery with the highest success rates. They would have to avoid drilling through my growth plates. And now that I'm done growing, this is like one of the last chances I get to fix it up. So we felt like it was best to get it done now and then just start running hard from here and just, have a great run from here on out.
Yeah, I was going to get to one quick question. You rode your 250 in the 450 class too, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What was the reasoning going to the limited? And because I would think that you probably qualified in the mod classes too at the areas and regionals, right?
Yeah, so I could have qualified for the mod classes, but we felt like it would have either been a 125 class with full mod out bike, or we could have gone with the option with the limited class just to get used to the bike more, not have to rush into it with a super stacked class, just get the feel for it really good. And then in the next years, go down really hard, grind real hard in those big dog classes and really make it work.
Gotcha. Where are you training?
So I trained with Ivan Tedesco in SoCal during the winter times. And then this year, right after regionals, I went to Baker's Factory and trained there with Brownie and Alden. Yeah, so I spent about a month and a half down there. I had a great time. I love it down there, so it was really good. Usually I don't go East Coast before the summer times. And this year going, I felt like it helped me a lot with motos and then just riding on that sand and riding on some real moto conditions compared to the SoCal tracks in the summer times. It's just a little bit inconsistent in the summer with the prep. With the water, it's so hard for them to do it. But in Florida, they get rain every day, so they can keep up the tracks really well. So I had a great time down there as well.
You get to ride with Brownie?
Yeah, so I was doing most of my work with Brownie, and then Alden was watching over me as well and riding with all the pro guys. It was a super cool experience riding with all them.
Yeah, okay. The question is, have you pushed Brownie over a berm yet? Have you come in hot on Brownie yet?
No, not yet.
Brownie will knock you out.
That's probably a good move on his part.
I think these young kids need to go in there and try to exert dominance over Brownie, and then that way when they get to the pro class, like the big pro class,
they won't be scared of nothing.
They won't be scared of nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, Brownie. Now that he's moved up to the older classes, he just sort of lets us run out, and then he starts behind us. He doesn't want to get in the battles any much.
You got to
too much.
Park him just on purpose. Just come in, just take his front wheel.
I was going to ask, on your best day at Loretta's, can you take Brownie? Brownie's pretty good there.
Oh, I don't know about at Loretta's. I mean, this year in the mud motos, I think I might have had him, but I mean, in practice, he was running pretty legit lap times. He has those lines inside and out. He's taking the same lines every lap that you wouldn't even think to run. So I learned a lot from him just watching him and doing track walk with him. So. But I think he spun a little bit, way more laps than me, and I don't know if I could keep up with him there quite yet.
Yeah, he's an alien, honestly. I don't know what planet he came from, but there's something different about that dude.
Yeah, he's a tank for sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about in the 250B limited class, obviously with that championship, your biggest title threat was Liam Aloff, and he had a really bad third moto. Like going into that third moto, you knew it was like all or nothing basically, right? Like Liam was the guy, and I assume going in, the game plan was Liam is the guy I have to be, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, so I went in 2-1 into that moto, and he went 1-2, so it was basically just whoever finished up front in the third moto. So that was basically the whole goal, just finish in front of him, and I knew I'd be set from there. And in that moto, I never thought I would have been able to catch back up to top 3. And then before I know it, I see on the pit board P4, Aloff P3. So just had to put a charge down. And then I'm not sure if he went down or something, but I saw him get by, and it was just a big stress relief almost.
I
didn't think I'd be able to make it happen, but it was big time. So I was pumped.
Yeah, Jeremy, you mentioned your strategy on picking the classes that you did, and it all made sense into where you're at. But I always thought that it's interesting that you can only do 2 classes at Loretta. I don't know if it's always been that way. I don't know really why they do that. Do you feel like if you had the opportunity to do more classes that you would have taken advantage of that, or do you like kind of focusing on the 2?
I feel like at a race like that, 2 classes is enough. I mean, depending on how your schedule is, like this year, if the rain didn't mess us up with all the rain delays and stuff, I would have raced once every day, and then I would have had 2 classes on Thursday, I believe. And at a track like that, if you have another moto thrown in there, you might get a day with 3 motos. You might, have 2 motos every day. So I personally think 2 motos or 2 classes a year, there's plenty. But I mean, I would always entertain the option if I were to race maybe a schoolboy class this year, just to be riding with the speed of some higher caliber riders, just maybe learn on them so I can take that into the other class as well.
I want to ask you about Loretta's with the format being a 3-race format over a week. There's a lot of downtime. It's obviously different than pretty much any other race you do. Do you have to prepare differently? Because I think a normal race, you go and race over a period of a couple days. Your adrenaline levels are just all focused on a couple days, right? And then instead of being up, down, and especially this year with the delays, do you find the preparation for Loretta's more difficult or different, or just what do you think about it?
Yeah, so Loretta's is now with the combines is changing things up a little bit, but I'd say Loretta's has always been like the one race that is the most hyped up for sure. And then it's the only race with full motos, 20-minute motos. And, spring nationals, they're more sprint style racing to where they're 15-minute races, 12-minute races to where it's really just get a start and throw down, 5 quick laps and your moto's done. So Loretta's, it's definitely to where, if you don't get that start, you still have time to get up front. So, I mean, I just feel like it's definitely a race that you can train harder for. And then if you are a rider with better endurance than other riders, you can charge the whole way through. And with the heat at that race, that's another factor as well that comes into it. And then, yeah, with the 3 moto formats and then all week long, there is a lot of sitting around. So you do have to move around, cycle, stretch, whatever it may be, just a lot of stuff to keep the blood going and make sure you're ready to go, because you don't want to get too, stagnant and not ready to go. And then everything goes on that first gate drop, and then you're scrambling, and then everything gets all pumped up and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Got it.
Yeah. So I've been seeing videos on social media and stuff of in Arizona, there's people's shoes are melting and tires are getting stuck to the road. It may just be TikTok garbage. I don't know, but I just wanted to know what.
Are they cartoons?
No, it's just real stuff. It's just
joking.
But kind of go over the 2 different heats that you experience at Loretta's, and then that you experience kind of in that dry heat where you're SoCal and Arizona. How do you kind of prepare for that, and what was your experience?
What's worse?
Yeah, what's worse?
Yeah, so I mean, at home in Scottsdale, the heat's been real brutal so far this summer. I haven't experienced too much of it myself. Just hearing from what my parents have to say, they train horses, so they're outside all day long. And 115, it's been getting up to on the weekly, so it gets brutal just being in that heat. The sun just hits you so much harder, and then being in Florida or Tennessee, wherever you may be, you can get in the shade, get some air going on you, and you cool off way faster compared to being in that, gnarly desert heat. I feel like that's a little bit more aggressive, because then when you're in the humidity, you have that sweat, and then with the airflow, I think it cools you down quite a bit more. So
okay, so it's different than what I thought you were going to say. So Orange Brigade helping you out, and Daniel Blair and all those guys, and I'm sure you've got your own mechanic. Were there any discussions once the bottom dropped with the weather of, okay, in this moto, we need to be a little more careful to save the bike? Or was it like, just go for it and hope for the best? Were there any extra precautions taken?
No, not for us. We were on a stock bike, so there's not much. Those mod bikes, they run at a way finer line than the stock bikes do. So even in those mud motos, I'm not a very hard rider on the bike compared to some other riders. I'm not on the clutch too heavy, I would say. So we just pretty much had the same plan for any other moto. Just go get the start and then just go, ride as we always do.
How much discussion have you had with Daniel Blair about the next couple years? Do you know what the game plan is? Like how you want to progress, maybe how Daniel sees things going? I think he's very good at working with people and figuring out what's best individually. Like everybody's a little different, kind of figuring out what the game plan is. He's really big on education and family. So have you guys talked about how, as a team, you want to progress over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so we've been talking about the next few years a lot recently. And Daniel, he's been really good to work with. He's not worried about getting as many championships right now. He's more worried about getting championships later down the road when it really matters in 250 class and 450 class. He's more worried about building a pro champion rather than an amateur champion. So I really respect that part of him. And, next year, like I said, this year was more of a year to build up, just get comfortable on the 250. And then the next 2 years, the plan is to run B mod class and schoolboy 2, and then run A classes next year, the year following next. So, and then go pro after that. So he's really just helping me develop as a rider, give me the time I need, not jumping into the pros too early, and just really let me focus on my technique, get my moto strength down, get good sprint speed, and just help me build up as much as we can.
Have you guys talked about, or do you already spend a little time on Supercross at all, when that might come into the program?
Yeah, so I'll race. My plan is to race some futures next year.
Okay.
And I have a Supercross track at my house in Scottsdale, and right after Salt Lake City or Denver, actually, he took the time out and flew out to the house for 2 days, and really took the time to ease me into Supercross. Help me get my technique down really good, not just rush me out there and tell me to go hit the whoops and do every triple I can.
Right.
He was really strategic about it, and he's really big on Supercross and helped me get that down. So I'm sure I'll be spending quite a bit of time with him, as well as Ivan, on getting my good whoop speed. And Supercross is just so important nowadays, especially with the futures. So many teams look at that so heavy. So I'll be sure to get that locked down with Daniel, and he'll be behind me the whole way.
That actually rolls into my next question, and I just asked Gavin Towers this. I'm working on an article I want to write about Loretta's, and like how important is it really compared to, like, we make it out to be this huge deal, but how does it really compare? And you just talked about teams looking at futures, and Supercross is what's important a lot of the times for those guys. So what do you think about the weight that Loretta's carries? It's huge at your level right now. Your team wants you to do well. Your family wants you to do well. But in the end, do the results at Loretta's really matter that much? Or is it more about how you persevere over the conditions and the adversity that might be thrown your way throughout the week? So what do you think Loretta's means? How important is it to a career?
I still think it's a very important race. Having the 3-moto format, it throws a big curveball in there, and some riders may not be able to have 3 consistent motos all week long. But I feel like in little bikes and up to super minis, it's the biggest race of the year. But then once you get into the E classes and A classes, racing the combines, when you're on a pro track in front of the pro teams that the pro guys are racing on the next day, and then when you're in futures, racing the same track to where every team manager is watching you instead of just, maybe one guy catching you on Racer TV here and there. So I feel like the futures is probably the biggest stuff of the year, even though I would say Loretta's is almost hyped up more. But I still think Loretta's is a very important part of the career. But at the end of the day, there's so many really good pros that have only won 1 or 2 championships at Loretta's, or not even any, and still succeed very highly in the sport. So
absolutely, that's part of what I'm writing about. Like, I think Ryan Villapoto is a good a good candidate for that. And then Ryan Dungey, I don't know that he ever won a championship at Loretta.
He won one.
Yeah, he won one. Yeah. So yeah, good point. Let's talk about family for a minute. That's something I also like to talk about. The sacrifices that your family have made, that's a big deal. At your amateur level, family's still a very big part of what you have going on. Talk about your support system.
Yeah, so my mom and dad, they make so many sacrifices all year round. My mom right now, she's spending the time with me here in Tennessee where I got my surgery, taking another week off of work in order to, make sure everything's going good. And my dad, he's working 7 days a week, keeping his business going. He's just, the amount of work he shows me how to get done and the amount of sacrifice he makes. He made the time to come out this year 3 full days when he usually only has time to come in 1 or 2 days to Loretta's. So just having him always working so hard and still making the time for me to come out to my biggest race of the year. It's just a big support. They give me all the opportunities that I need, whether it's training in SoCal or, helping me get down to Florida, whatever I need, they're always right behind me to give it to me. So
I dig it. I love these kids' answers, TJ. Man, these are good kids. Scotty, you agree?
I'm pretty sure I made a point about that, and y'all just proceeded to crap.
We don't
on
listen.
me,
We don't
so,
listen to anything you say.
Yeah.
Jeremy Fappani tonight, brought to you by WUSA. My last question for you is, since we don't know a lot about you growing up, who are your heroes? Who do you feel like you model yourself after as a rider, or maybe you like their riding style and would like to emulate? Don't say Jet. Don't you say Jet.
I've always been a really big James Stewart fan ever since I was little,
That's a really good answer, but a really scary answer too.
Yeah. So, I mean, he has the most sauce out of anyone I've seen. I've always tried to be like him. He's the fastest guy I've ever seen go on a bike. But then growing up, I was a big McGrath fan too. That's where I got my name from. That's why I run number 2. So yeah, I would say one of those 2 riders, but James, he's probably always going to be my number 1.
I'm going to tell you, I've met James briefly, met Jeremy many, many times, have him on the show. There is no human being cooler than Jeremy McGrath. None.
Yeah.
Absolute coolest dude on the planet. Major man crush on Jeremy McGrath, his personality. He's the raddest dude ever.
Yeah, he ended up coming out to my 6th birthday party when I lived in San Marcos.
Okay.
Randy Manega, the guy that's been building my tracks for a very long time, he's very tight with McGrath. So he ended up helping us out and get him out there to spend a day riding with us and do all the fun stuff. So yeah, he's definitely a cool guy.
So if you got your name from there, obviously your dad was a rider?
So my dad, he grew up in Italy and moved over when he was 18. He's been in horses his whole life, but my mom grew up in LA. And
mom was a McGrath fan. Mom was a McGrath fan. Oh boy.
Showtime.
Yeah. Her family, they didn't ride too much, but
did she go to Havasu?
My uncle rode a little bit, and they were just familiar with the sport, and just their side of the family, they're fans of the Supercross, and McGrath being a SoCal guy, they just sort of grew up being fans of them. So
super cool. Yeah,
awesome.
That's a great story. That was good. It's a good way to wrap this thing up. Jeremy, man, really great getting to know you, and really congratulations on the championship, and look forward to many more years of watching you ride, man. I think you're going to be special. If Daniel Blair has high things to say about you, I trust the guy.
Thank you very much for having me, and hoping to talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. We'll get you back on here down the road.
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. It's Jeremy Fappani, brought to you by WUSA. Awesome, man. Yeah. Those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something a kind of related to him, but just to think about.
Yeah.
Daniel's running that KTM Orange
Brigade. Yeah.
There's nowhere for those Orange Brigade kids to easily transition into the pros. Like you look at Rock River where Gavin's at, right?
Right.
It's a pretty easy step to go to Star to move up to the next deal. You know what I'm talking about? Team Green takes the guys and rolls them into the pro circuit. And then Suzuki.
Yeah, it used to be TLD, but now there's no
the TLD.
Well, there used to be a TLD.
No, you said TLG.
No, I didn't.
He said D.
Oh, okay. I was like, it took me a second.
I got to have his back on that one.
You said Orange, but you said Orange Brigade, so.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
Anyway,
Man, why is he bashing? What's
He's
his deal?
hateful.
Why is
Oh
he
my
so
God.
hateful?
I don't
Hey,
know.
you know what's funny?
Not only is he hateful, he's also telling our guest how he gets butthurt over things.
What?
He's like, "Well, I just said that earlier, and y'all are bashing on me."
He does.
Yeah,
Scotty does get his feelings hurt a little bit.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh yeah.
I
So
think
any-
it's why- yeah. Okay.
so anyhow, but there's no
Motivates me to be meaner.
exactly. There's no.
It'll be a success when he cries.
I'm not gonna cry.
He just
Well,
gets up
we'll,
and walks
we'll
out.
see about that.
Challenge accepted. No, but seriously, like as a family who's raising a racer and bringing him up,
I bet Scotty wishes he had a family.
Yeah, everybody hates me.
Sorry.
this is a serious.
It's funny
point
because
here.
I bring up the same stuff that you bring up, but when
I'm
I
hurt.
bring it up, it's a big
Yeah,
deal.
stupid. I'm laughing.
Yeah.
My ribs are really hurting.
Yeah, I hope it hurts like a bitch.
We'll give him a hey. If ML's still watching, definitely he's getting a pat on the back from Scotty whenever the show's over.
Okay, go ahead.
But no, seriously, like as an amateur parent, and you have Fappani as your kid, and you're like, I guess it's one of those things. Do you worry about that? Like, do you think? I'd be interested to hear how some of the parents, and I don't think
they
on
kind
record.
of don't have a feeder program.
There's no feeder program because
I think Daniel's working on that. That's hopefully that's part of I think what he's working to do is find a way to transition these kids. That's part of his goal. So maybe that's coming.
KTM or somebody coming in with a team or whatever.
I don't know about that, but I know that like his goal is to get these kids prepared to move into the pro ranks. So that has to be part of the program.
Right.
And actually, Michael Lindsay did just do an interview with him last night about Loretta's. Now, I have no idea if they got into any of that kind of stuff, but that's a good question. If we'll get Daniel back on soon and maybe talk about that.
I hate to put him on the spot like that, but it does bring that up. Anyways,
so we got a couple minutes before we get Kyleigh on.
You know who you missed having on?
Who?
Shock Socks rider.
Which one?
Jadon Cooper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, he is he is one of our local boys.
Right.
I mean, I know he's from Baytown, but I mean, he's a BSM. He's all that stuff. So I mean, I can only have so many guests on. We already have 4. We were going to have 5. Originally Sophia Phelps was going to come on, but she had to have her wisdom teeth removed. She didn't realize that was today. Oh, that would have been a really fun interview about right now. Yeah, mumbling.
She's like, we could try it, but I don't really know how it's going to go. And I was like, yeah, let's just wait.
Yeah.
Let's just wait. But yeah, we're about to get Kyleigh on, but I do want to ask your guys' thoughts. We briefly touched on it. Barsha coming back at Unadilla this weekend. Where do you see him, Scotty, finishing? You don't know how much he's been riding. I can tell you in Italy, when I was watching because I wasn't riding, the dude was ripping and he was scrubbing a couple of those tabletops so hard that he almost didn't show up at Unadilla this weekend because he was dragging bars literally dragging bars. But he looked good there.
Yeah.
I think top 4. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting because Barsha's kind of like the Energizer Bunny. When if you knock the batteries out of him, then he's not going to work. 'Cause he's out. But then when you put the batteries back in, it's not like he's not going to creep his way in.
Right? No,
he's not going to. Hey,
build up.
We're just seeing what the first round's going to do. He's going to be him right off the bat. So where does that stand? I mean, I don't think it's going to touch what Sexton and Jet have going on, but. I definitely.
But that third spot's possible.
I would not be surprised if he's up there battling with Ferrandis or giving him an AP.
Jason, AC,
JC,
AP.
I think we're going to see like a Kennard style kind of comeback, and the reason why I say that is because he is. What's the word I'm looking for? Like he wants to be on this team.
I asked him that.
Yeah,
in Italy at dinner, and he just his little laugh he does.
Yeah,
he's like, well, I haven't been riding that much, and I was like, listen. I said, Justin, we need you because it's you or it's Grant Harlan. And he just started laughing. And he's like, oh, well, I have never said no. Yeah. So if they ask me, I'm in.
So it wasn't like he wasn't like, oh, my God, I do want to go.
No, he just doesn't feel like, well, I haven't been riding much. I don't know how prepared I am. I'm like, Grant, I love Grant.
Right.
But it's you or Grant Harlan. Just kind of joking. I mean, obviously, there's AP and AC and Jason Anderson, but it was just sort of a joke. But actually, no, Jason Anderson's not going to go because that's Kawasaki. And so neither's AC. So, no, those guys aren't available because Kawasaki's not going to go. So, those 2 aren't even available. So, basically, it's AP or Grant Harlan.
We need Grant Harlan and Masterpool and somebody on Puerto Rico.
That'd be a good pretty decent Puerto Rican team. But I think I think Barsha goes personally, but
He's
the
really,
question
he's
though is
really
about
good at Unadilla.
yeah,
Yeah,
I,
for
I,
sure.
I could see him. Well, I don't want to get into our 60 picks yet,
Yeah.
but I could definitely, if he podiumed, I wouldn't be like,
Oh, no.
holy crap, I can't believe it.
This is how I feel like you're going to see this. I feel like you're going to tune into the race day live, and they're going to be covering practice.
Yeah.
And you're gonna turn it on, whether you started at the beginning or not. You're gonna turn it on, and at one point during the practice thing, you're gonna see Barsha at number 1, and you're gonna hear a panic rev from somewhere. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, Barsha just at the fastest lap," and like it may not stand, but at some point he's. I mean, that's just what he is.
Sure.
He's never strayed from being that guy.
Well,
so I see it. I see it. I'm glad to have him back. It's exciting.
Yeah, we've got our next guest on, so I would introduce her in just a second. But yeah, I definitely think Barsha's top. I'm going to go top 4.
I think
I need to look. I need to actually. I haven't looked at. I wrote down my 60 picks. So but we're that's 250 is what we're going with. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get to our next guest. She's going to be brought to you tonight by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew have been providing the best seats and foam in the industry for years. For 2023, they've added Kawasaki to their complete seat lineup, as well as the color teal to the gripper material options available. Also new for 2023 are the options for your e-bikes. They have complete seats for the Talaria and the Super 73 and covers for the Segway and Sur-Ron. And they have options for the Honda, KTM, and Husqvarna electric bikes. Visit gutsracing.com. Order a seat. I think it's like 36-hour turnaround on most of the time. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us the women's motocross amateur champion, Kyleigh Stallings. What's up, Kyleigh?
Hey, how are you?
We're good. Good to talk to you. Excited to have you on. Congratulations on your champion.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you had a big improvement from last year in the WMX class to this season. You went from 11th last year, first this year. What did you do different? What was the training like?
So I actually last year was on mini bikes too. So I was riding super minis and then also the 250 at the same time. I think that the super mini made my 250 riding not as good just because they're so different. Like I was riding a Husqvarna super mini versus a Kawasaki 250. So it was just completely different. And
Sure.
I think that it definitely played a part in how I rode and just everything, really how I handled the 250. But yeah, it was definitely a big improvement from last year.
Yeah. Has it set in that you're the women's motocross champion?
I mean, that was the goal coming into it. So I think it's set in. Yeah, and I'm ready to get more.
Yeah, we had Sophia on last year, and we were actually trying to get her on tonight as well with you. But she actually is having her wisdom teeth removed today. But one of the cool things talking to her last year was the way she described the camaraderie amongst the women, which isn't always the case with the boys. It seemed like, at least with her, that she was just so excited when another woman did well. And like, even if she didn't win, she was excited. Do you kind of get that same vibe from the girls in the class?
I think that there's definitely I guess we bond better between the girls. I guess, I don't know if it's just we're not as competitive or what, but I think there definitely is a lot of friendships going on. And yeah, I definitely do get happy when one of my friends, or even if somebody does one, I'm always happy for them. So yeah, I think there definitely is more friendships going on.
Were you even remotely prepared for what happened with the weather this year? How did you adjust?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I was prepared for it, but I definitely rode the mud a couple times, so I kind of knew what to do, really. And I was actually running in the last moto. All I had to do was get 7th place, so I just kind of backed down and chilled out, really, just to kind of play it safe. But no, I was sitting there watching while the rain was pouring down at 10 in the morning, and I was like, there is no way they're racing this race. Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah, no, it was definitely a shock, but I think I handled it pretty well.
Yeah, Kyleigh, so you pretty much, since you've kind of been up and coming, the WMX class has not really been around. I don't remember.
Pro level.
The pro level, yeah, that's what I'm going at. With the pro level hasn't been around. With, the kind of where I'm going with this is, do you feel like you still would like that opportunity to be able to do that? Or are you kind of glad that, motocross is something that you've done with your life, but you're using it more as a preparation for your real life kind of thing, rather than, there's not the that carrot of a motocross career, like some of these guys that try to, they put all their eggs in that basket and it doesn't work out. Do you kind of feel that has made you a better perspective as a growing person, or do you kind of wish that option was still there?
I do wish that option was still there. Like you said, I started riding way after, I guess they took it down. So no, I definitely do wish that option was there. I feel like that would give a lot of girls in my class opportunities to, I guess make it really.
Mm-hmm.
When you does that mean that from here, do you look to go like pro, like Supercross, where you have like Vicky Golden and Jordan Jarvis this last year? She's trying to make it in, and those guys up. Is that a route you're looking to go?
I think that that's definitely an option, but obviously I have a lot more work to do to get to that level. So maybe someday if I do get to that level, then I think that definitely is an option to do. Yes.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so that it's interesting. I was always wonder that when you see a lot of the fast women coming up, I mean, it's a big step, and Jordan, she's doing really good, I guess, holding it down for the women. And I'm always interested to see if there's going to be some girl coming up to take the reins, I guess.
Yeah, I think that at some point girls just, I don't know if I would say stop improving, but stop improving. And that's when you kind of figure out what you're going to do. But if I do keep improving and keep going up from here, then I definitely will keep that in mind and work for that.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed that the women's motocross championship went away. Like it was, when you asked that question, Scotty, it reminded me of the fact that the legend Ashley Fialek raced this year again. Yeah. How cool was it to see her back out there? And then, I just assume, Kyleigh, that's somebody that you somewhat looked up to, because at that time when she was racing, women's racing was at its biggest, and they went at it.
Yeah, no, when I saw her on the roster, I was like, there's no way. I didn't think it was real. Yeah, but after the moto, she came and gave me a hug. No, it was really cool, and I would never expected that really.
Have you put any thought? I know in Europe they have a women's class that's pretty competitive.
I think in Canada too, maybe.
I don't know. I know the MotoGP, the MXGP has a women's class that's quite competitive and actually good racing. Have you thought about that road in the future?
I actually have. We've been working on a plan the last couple years to actually go down there. Just need to get a couple more things together and a little bit more time on the 250 really. Before we decide to go down there. But yeah, that definitely has something we've been looking into a lot lately.
Yeah, I'd love to see another American go over there and start winning in the European race. Women, men, whatever, just Americans winning.
Yeah. And then also you raced with another, women's, to me, legend. Hannah Hodges was out there. That was very cool. So yeah, it was a pretty stacked class. And yeah, it's very impressive what you did. What do you've already kind of mentioned that you are looking towards hopefully having some kind of pro career. Who do you have in your corner helping you? There's not a lot of support, I would assume, from the teams for the women's class, which also sucks. So who do you have helping you out?
So yeah, I'm actually I'm on Team Green, but it's not under the tent Team Green. That's obviously something that I dream of and hope to one day that they sign me for that. But I train with Robbie Raynard. He's my trainer, and he's a really big help in my career, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I go through Ryan Holiday from Kawasaki. So yeah, like I said, hopefully one day they can work something out with me.
Yeah, it's a disappointment when I sit there and think about it. I was looking at the class schedules, and a lot of the girls, as you get a little bit older, there's really only one class that you can even rate. Well, you can sign up with the boys in the boys classes, I guess, but there's really only one women's class, and there's the girls, which once you age out of that, it doesn't give you as many options, I feel like.
Yeah. So I went looking back the other day at all the races they used to have, and they had 5 women's classes at all the nationals. Yeah. And it's just crazy to see how many options that the girls had to race in, but now it's your only options are women's, and then let's say I would do 250B. So yeah, there's definitely not that many options, and I wish there was, but at some point you got to step it up and start racing with boys, which is something that I'm going to start doing at all the nationals.
Have you talked to Jordan any? Do you know her very well? Because obviously she's done that and been trying to do that, and in my opinion, she's been fairly successful. She's made a couple nationals. Sometimes she's making it alternate. I think she's made a couple straight in. Yeah,
she made night shows.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I mean, and Jordan, dude, she blew by me at Cycle Ranch one time.
She ran over Doc.
Oh yeah, she went by me so fast though that even when I slowed it down on my GoPro, it's still embarrassing how fast she went by.
Yeah.
But anyway, have you talked to Jordan very much?
I have, yeah. Me and her are like friends because she's on Fox, so it's kind of like a big Fox family. But yeah, no, we've definitely talked about that, and I've watched her race growing up, and she's always been that girl. So yeah, we've definitely talked a lot, and we're friends.
Yeah, you know, he just talked about it. Like it's crazy because you guys, it gives you a false sense of illusion when you're watching on TV because it doesn't look like Mike Brown and all those guys are going that fast or y'all are going that fast, but y'all are hauling the mail, and so it's just like it's crazy to see you guys go that pace, and it's just I'm glad to see that y'all are working hard to kind of to keep that going and like to run that pace that y'all are.
Yeah, I don't really want to make this interview all about like the girls aren't on the same level, but it is unfair. Like it is. I mean, because I think they are very fast. You're right. They deserve.
If all three of us got jumped in that WMX class, we wouldn't have.
I couldn't have beat the younger girls.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten 30th. Yeah,
but I just feel like the ladies, Kyleigh, deserve more respect than sometimes you guys get, and it's a little frustrating because I even if some of the racing is at a slower pace, it's still good racing.
Yeah, no, there definitely is some battles, but kind of like I said, unfortunately, the way it is, you kind of just got to step it up.
Right.
But
yeah, well,
there's not much you can do. It's
unfortunate, but like we've had people, like you said, you're looking at going over to Europe to race and those kind of things. I mean, you're making the dream happen, and that's what's everybody has to do.
I mean, there's opportunity. She's looking for it. Talk about your family a little bit. How did you get into moto? You're training in Oklahoma. Is that where you're actually from?
So I actually just moved back from Austin to live a little bit closer to where I train at. My dad used to road race, and when I was little, he got me a little P-dub, and then I started riding it a little bit. I actually took my training wheels off, like ran into a tree, and then didn't ride again until I was like 7 years old. So I didn't start at 2 or 3 like most of these kids, but so he used to road race, and then that's what really got me into it.
How far up in, like, did he get into the pros road racing?
Honestly, I think I was like 3 years old, so I was really just there for all the candy and all the concessions.
Like, I
have no idea.
I almost feel like you should be training at Texas Tornado down in Houston at Colin Edwards' place. Like that just feels like it would fit in with because Colin being a former road racer and that's where obviously Hayes Edwards and Van Martin's the trainer down there. So that's nothing wrong with Robbie, obviously, but yeah, that's cool. Road racing. I just talked to a guy yesterday that runs KYT America helmets, and he's a road racer and does TT racing. That stuff just is scary.
Yeah.
It is, but my dad's always said, like, luckily in road racing, you can get lucky most of the time and just kind of slide off the track.
Have you done any of the road racing? Have you put leathers on and gone out and actually
drug a knee?
Yeah, drug a knee around a corner.
I don't know if I would do that. No, I haven't. But I have like a little Grom. I don't know if that counts.
It counts. Yeah, Groms are fun. Yeah, so that I would be interested to see somebody with your moto skills, how quickly you could take to, because I don't know if you keep up or watch MotoGP or if your dad does or whatever. A lot of the guys are like taking foot off around corners and almost like going around like they had like a shoe on, you know what I mean? Like a flat track almost.
Oh,
the guys are taking their inside foot off, weighting their front tires, like moto style.
Yeah.
And some of the guys are winning like that,
Sounds like it's in her DNA if her dad did it.
I know, that's what I was wondering.
What was Go ahead.
I've always wondered that too, like if I were to try out like wood stuff and like stuff like that, how I would do with that, because like you see all these motocross racers do stuff like that and they always end up doing well, so I've always wondered like how I would do with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you got time right now, don't you have some time off? Are you going to go to Minios or what's the plan?
Yeah, so I'm taking 2 weeks off right now, and then we're going to head to Baja next month.
Oh, I love that track.
Yeah, and then Ponca, Minios, and then next year over again.
Full on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you been to Baja?
I haven't. This is my first year.
Oh, are you good at sand?
I can be, yeah.
She's probably better than us.
So I'm just gonna say, like, seriously, you just go find the sandiest dirt hole you can find and just do motos in that. But and Baja's, the track is awesome, and the whole the whole weekend is a blast. It is so much fun. But yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's a big party house down there.
Yeah, there'll be people like they'll have every year they have the belly flop contest in the into the pot, and seriously join in on that because all you can do is just get more and more fans.
She's young. We don't know. We need her at the party central.
I mean, but the belly flop is pretty fun.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like it's better when you have some liquid encouragement.
Yeah,
to
you
do
don't
that.
need that. I don't drink, and we're still out there having.
Well,
Having
you're
a
just
good
an
time.
idiot. You don't count.
Yeah. So when you started riding moto, was that something your dad did to cross train a little bit? Because a lot of road racers do, or was moto relatively new to the family?
It was completely new.
Ooh.
He never did anything like that, so I don't really know how that came to happen. Really, he had nothing to do with motocross, which is always so hard to kind of tell my story on how I've gotten into it because it never really ran in the family except for road racing, really.
So you got like a 50. You said you hit a tree. You stayed off the bike for a while. How do you initially get into going to your first race? How does that transition happen?
Well, I remember like we had the bike that he got me for the whole time I was off of it. And I seen it one time in the garage and I was like, hey Dad, like I want to try it again. Like I was a lot older, so I wasn't as scared. We brought it off to like a little golf course thing and just kind of rode it around until I was like, Dad, like I want to race, like let's do this. And then we actually brought me to like some race that like you race dirt bikes on asphalt. So it was like
supermoto.
asphalt. Yeah, and then you got off into the trees, and then it was the weirdest thing ever. But no, it definitely was very random.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, did it just immediately though? First time you raced, were you like, "This is what I want to do, Dad. I'm in."
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Dad has to like find a second job so he can afford to pay for it. Yeah.
And then my dad went all out, bought me like a bunch of junior 50s, got them all like decaled up. It was, yeah.
So is your dad like the typical moto dad? Does like he holler at you in the middle of the after the motos and stuff?
Yeah, but I mean, so if it's really bad and if I do really bad, he just won't even talk to me. Like, give me the silence.
Have you ever just like not gone back to the truck? Has it been bad and you just rode to somebody else's pit?
He has told me before, like if you don't figure it out, like don't even start heading south, go home.
Jeez, yikes.
I like this guy.
Right, yeah.
I like her dad already.
I do too, but like we've talked about Dad. What's Mom's role?
She's like kind of on the comforting side. Like I'll get back and she'll be like, "It's okay. Like I'm proud of you either way." Like she could, if I got 42nd place, she could care less. Like she's just happy if I'm happy.
And Dad's like, "No, damn it! I paid $500 to come to this race." Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, my dad goes up here to train every day, so he kind of sees like my potential, and if he thinks that I could have done better, and then yeah, he definitely does get disappointed sometimes.
Do you have brothers?
I don't. I have a sister. She's in college.
So to your dad? Are you like the son?
The son that he didn't have.
Yeah, he's always said like you're the guy or you're the son that I've never had, but I'm not like super like tomboy. Like I'm pretty girly girl too. So it's kind of a little bit of both, to be honest.
It's good. Life is balance.
I'm
just glad to hear that the 50 dads to the girls are just as ruthless.
Just gnarly.
Yeah.
Dude, didn't I told you guys, I think like last year at Swan, I was watching some dad
some story.
Was chewing his daughter's ass.
It
dude.
may have been her.
It was a Mun. It was a dude they raced for Mun at the time because I remember I was asking if it was.
You thought it was Chip.
Yeah, because I was struggling to not go get in this dude's face the way he was talking to her.
Was that your dad?
No.
Yeah, it was way too aggressive. It was a lot of F-bombs and making this girl
insane.
cry. And I was like, why would this girl ever want to ride dirt bikes again? You're a total a-hole.
Yeah, that definitely does make it hard on like riders' lives, I guess.
Yeah.
If the dad like that, it just kind of ruins you, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw a kid at it was in the beginner class, and their parents were arguing about the kids racing.
Yeah,
But dude,
that's what she was like in a beginner class,
Yeah,
and he
like,
said
dude,
something like
they're not out here making.
it was the
money.
beginner class, and I think he said like, "You're the only kid that crashed." That's what he was telling her. I was like, "She's in the beginner class, dude." Jeez, yeah, it
Chill
was.
down, dude.
Anyway, all right, we got off topic, but
Sorry.
yeah, Kyleigh, dude, I don't know. I'm really proud of you. It's really cool to watch. I watched pretty much all the motos last week, and I was watching for Sophie, but I was very, very impressed by you and became
Were
a
you?
fan.
Because you can't even say her name right.
Well, Sophia, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
God, he gets so sensitive. He gets
Anyway,
so emotional.
Kyleigh, I was very impressed, though. I liked how you were a great rider. You did really well in the mud and the different conditions, and I was very impressed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to continue to watch you as you race throughout the rest of the season and next season, and we'll keep an eye on you, and we'll get you back on.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for having me.
All right, Kyleigh, you have a good night, and thanks for coming on.
All right. See you. Bye.
I see a future MXGP women's class champion right there.
Yeah, she was good. It was
Yeah.
really impressive. I was very impressed. Kyleigh Stallings, brought to you tonight by Guts Racing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Violet raced. I figured that I guess she probably doesn't ride as much as she used to.
No, I think this is the first time she's raced in many years.
She tried to go there and announce. It didn't work out.
Okay, that's messed up. That's so messed up. But no, I figured. I thought that she was like the Ricky Carmichael of women's riding. I figured that. I saw her results that were like 15, 11, like 8 or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
she hasn't been on a bike.
What do you think if Ricky was to sign up right now?
Yeah, I
and
know.
go?
I'm just
might win.
I'm just saying that was very surprising that
Yeah,
those
Ashley's
girls
Ashley's were 7, 10, 16. Yeah, I think she had. I don't remember what happened in the last.
I mean,
moto,
she's what 30 years old, I think. So maybe that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
She's got to be.
Hit her up in the DMs. Find out.
No.
No,
I'm not going to do that.
That's his job.
That's his move.
That's his lane.
I stay out of the sliding in the DMs.
Anyway, okay. Before we get to Jacob Hayes here in just a few more minutes, any other highlights from Loretta's that stood out to you? I have a few notes. Anything else stand out to you, Scotty, that just off the top of your head?
Man, I was a little bit like, I know that there was lightning and stuff, and you can bench raise all you want sitting on the couch, but like, I don't feel like I feel like the weather could have been handled better. And I know that you guys were giving me a hard time about saying that they should have just finished Sunday, but I don't know. I feel like they should have kept to the tradition of the longer races and just made it go on Sunday. And if you got to figure out how to get back home, you got to figure out how to get back home. You're there for that commitment.
It's easy to say when you're not there and you're
and
not.
you don't have to get back.
I get that.
You clearly don't.
Yeah.
Because what if what if half the people just left because I can't stay and race. We have to go home.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice. We have a job.
There were
Get
people
your
that
priorities right. You're out here for Loretta's, and you're here
this
for
guy who
Loretta's.
I can't get to come do the show sometime. Well, I got to
Whoa,
work.
whoa. When
That's
have
me.
I never
Well,
come to
if
the
that's
show?
like
you got us confused.
Oh, maybe it was you. No,
Yeah.
there's just you have to schedule the show around you work because you work at night sometime.
Basically what I said is I told work to F off and I'll be here. So I don't know what you're talking about.
See, that's what I'm saying. You got us confused.
Yeah, clearly. My bad. My bad.
I honestly
guess he's got his
priorities
right.
I had two. I don't know if you call them pros or negatives or what. Not negative pros or cons, but things that surprised me.
Yeah,
were Aiden Kiefer.
Yeah, he did top 10 a couple of them, didn't he?
And it's not because I don't think he's a good rider. It's just he never rides in the conditions. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have the consistent and the back. He's not been a racer for a long time. He's not been traveling to the amateur nationals. He's not. I think that shines a light on the possibilities of him actually being a really good pro.
I mean, he's never led a race at Loretta's, has he?
No, he's only been there 3 times. He won a moto in the C class.
Yeah, I think he did have.
But what I'm getting at is he just wasn't growing up from a kid, and now he's up there in that class and doing good, getting a podium. That's just awesome. And then I brought it up earlier, just messing with you, but Jadon Cooper.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see that coming. I knew he was going to be good. I did not see him winning a championship. Not that he's not a good rider. I just like he is really, really, really.
What class was that in?
In the B class.
B class.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So Jadon is a really good rider, and
Yeah, I don't really know him, but I've heard the name. Yeah,
Sean Hackley trains him.
yeah, I knew that. I mean, because I've heard the name through him.
Right, but he is just an awesome. I say he's a kid. He's a kid to us.
Yeah,
he's an awesome kid. And just I really helped me see that could be a good future for him.
What was there more to the story of Evan Ferry? Because he went back bad. And I know he got hurt and he whirled off the track.
Yeah, that. He was on my
like,
list of things that I was like, man,
he just did not. It was not a good look.
No, and I don't I hate saying it, but I don't feel like anything in his last few years has been a positive look. It just doesn't seem like he's performing.
Do you think that the name is what's keeping him in those rides?
I'm wondering that. I mean, I feel like
he got. I'm trying not to talk bad about him, but he got straight dropped in a couple of those. Like he was in a good position, and then just like they were just sucking him up, and he's
obviously got a good bike.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I feel like I really need to see something out of him results-wise soon.
What was the story of? Did he get hurt? And I saw people taking his helmet off for him and stuff. Do we know what happened?
I haven't heard anything of results, but it looked like he got hurt.
Yeah.
But whether he actually was hurt or like whether he was hurt or injured, I don't know.
He just tucked the front end, like James Stewart said. Just tuck the front end and call it
good.
I
mean,
that was your move. Yeah,
that's my move.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, bro. Sometimes it happens.
Hey,
he's like I can't figure out. How
I
to
haven't
write these
had
articles.
a big crash in 3.5 years. So
well, at least you did it when it was important not to.
We've only really been riding again for about 7 months. So
I've been riding a lot though.
Yeah,
more than I've ever ridden, and I haven't really been hitting the dirt any. So
that's true.
Like I wasn't.
Makes it seem more intentional now.
Yeah, might have been, but yeah, and then Lux Turner. Lux Turner put some good rides in.
I don't know Lux Turner at all.
I don't really know him either. I just had him on the show.
Yeah.
When I was in California because I liked his name. Really, that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it reminded me of the Metallica song Lux Eterna. You didn't listen to that show, I guess.
I did not.
So you'll like the story then. So
Yes.
when picking in fantasy, and I think it was Southwick, pretty sure because I think I had him on after that. Might have been right after Millville though. I can't remember. Either way, I saw his name and he did okay in qualifying. I was like, I think I'm gonna put this kid on my team because he qualified okay, and his name reminds me of the new Metallica song Lux Eterna. And then he did really well. So then I had him on the show and I used Lux Eterna, a very short segment of that song for his intro. I was like, you're the only person that gets an intro, their individual intro song. He thought it was really cool. Then the next week, I was like, yeah, man, we got demonetized because you played that song for too long. So, sorry, but I thought it was cool. So, yeah, anyway. But Lux, I feel like this kid might be one of those sleepers, over the next, as we move into the pros. Like, he might be a kid that's like, oh, wow.
So he raced some of the outdoor nationals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've never heard the name.
Like, off the top of my head, I do not remember his results.
Right.
But, yeah, I think and then he looked really good at Loretta. So.
And how did he finish overall in Loretta? Do you remember?
I didn't write his results down.
Okay.
I just remember him having some moments that were really good. I can look, but it would take a minute. And I'm still waiting on Jacob to respond. So he's not.
It was driving me nuts that every time I would turn on the.
Oh, here we go.
I would turn on the Racer TV, yeah, and people were like, "Still, when's Deegan race?"
That was a joke.
I'm aware, but
okay.
it's just like literally every 4 minutes somebody had to make that joke again, and it was like, yeah, he's winning. He's almost winning a championship. Like, just let him. He's not at Loretta's, guys.
Yeah, people were doing that just to piss people off, and it was working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lux in the 250 Pro Sport went 12.64, and let's see if I would assume he raced Open Pro Sport also.
That's the real question: is how much do
11,
these
12, 9 in Open Pro Sport? So not
how
as
much
good.
do these teams take? Obviously it's a recruitment kind of event race. Prove yourself there because everybody's there watching.
So.
I'm gonna call Jacob and see. If
I mean, that's kind of been the claim of it for a while, but the real question is when they have a mutter like this and it's a lot of weather oriented results, do they take less out of that? Do they take more out of that? I'd be curious to see what they're looking for when something like that happens.
Watching kids come up through amateurs for so long, I mean, really and truly, I think once you're at Loretta's, these kids are.
I'm going to switch over and see if he's on. I think it's his voicemail, just so you guys are going to probably.
He's not.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if it's one of those things where I don't think that there's like you're not going to go out and get a top 3 at Loretta's and nobody already know who you are.
Yeah, that's true. But all those guys, all the team owners and team managers and stuff, they're all watching that race to see how you do. Don't say that they're not, because they are.
I'm sorry, I was texting with Jacob. He said 5 minutes. What was the initial question?
I was talking about how they should take when it happens a motor like this, so the teams look at that more or less. Well,
okay, so that was part of the thing I've been asking recently for this article I want to write, and the vibe I'm getting back is a lot of the guys. The managers are looking, well, how do you respond? Maybe you don't have the best moto, but do you respond to the adversity positively? Are you putting your best foot forward, your most effort, or are you just like giving up?
Well, he's talking about the mud.
Oh,
like, do you think the teams would weight it more or less because of the mud? Like, so the kids who came in there and rode and did really good,
that's harder or more impressive.
Okay, for example, Gavin, is he going to get the credit that he deserves, or are they going to be like, oh, well, it was a mud race, anything could happen?
I think he will, because he had good motos when it was dry.
Yeah, I think they would look at it individually and say, okay, how did he ride? Did he come from far back? Did he just they have to look at it individually the entire race and see how he performed? Not necessarily that he got first or fifth, but how did he ride? How did he deal with traffic? And was it something that that's a good character trait or race trait? So I think that's probably
But no, I don't know. I don't think that they weight it that much. I think their minds are made up, especially in the pro sport.
Yeah, that's kind of been the case lately. I don't think it used to be like that. I think it used to, because it used to only
because there wasn't social media.
Well, that and there was only one real national, the Redas. There wasn't as much weight on these other ones.
And then there wasn't like every one of these amateur kids have talked about the combines, and I don't even think about the combines.
Yeah, but
kids do. I've heard a few of them talk about it.
Yeah,
Jacob's ready. So
yeah, I didn't realize that.
You guys keep going.
I didn't realize that the combines had so much weight on them.
because they're already all there.
Yeah,
and
have
the same track.
I guess because they're doing it on the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, our next guest is on the line. He's going to be brought to you tonight by Luxon. When it comes to triple clamp, suspension, and chassis parts, there's no comparison. Luxon MX makes the best parts you can buy. Luxon's advanced engineering background and techniques allow them to develop products that are unlike the rest. They're lighter and stronger with optimized stiffness to enhance your riding comfort and precision. Luxon products are designed, engineered, and made in the USA, so check them out online at luxonmx.com. And remember, all orders of $100 or more ship free within the continental U.S., and you can save 10% on all their products with the promo code MotoXpod. Tonight, Luxon MX brings you Jacob Hayes. What's up, Jacob?
I'm just trying to figure out where to get a set of Luxon triple clamps. You can help me out with that?
I can. Right? LuxonMX.com, and maybe, I'm sorry, TJ's making fun of me. My fucking body hurts, dude. I'm hurt. Anyway.
So does Luxon help with your body, or you're just saying your body hurts?
My body hurts right now. I have broken ribs, and TJ's making fun of me because I'm rubbing myself.
It looks like he's over here playing with his man.
Yeah, dude, I'm so sore right now. Anyway. I
was confused because you were like Luxon, so then Luxon doesn't help you recover faster, or that you're just
maybe if he'd had Luxon on that gas, he wouldn't have tucked the front end.
And maybe if Jacob had Luxon,
oh shit,
he wouldn't have got worked by Heath Harrison.
Maybe, yeah, because I run
by a bunch of kids.
Triple clamps because I work for a living, and it takes a lot of money to furnish a motorcycle and things that you don't think of when you race professionally, but when you go and do it for fun, the bank account starts kind of getting hit pretty hard, and you're like, that doesn't look the best, so I'm just going to go with the stock clamps. You know what I mean? If that's what the factories are selling, that's what I'm running.
Well, we've heard multiple times this year of other people throwing out this number of taking from the time that you go to areas to Loretta's, it costing $10,000. Do you think you spent $10,000 for all of it?
No, and I talked to a couple guys, and they gave me that stat, and I don't like doing that because Loretta's is its own event. Yes, you have to do the qualifier and the regional,
Right.
but those are more for fun, right? Like when you're a mini, those aren't fun. They're very stressful. But for me, getting to the regional, I had a lot of fun. Going to the qualifier, I had a lot of fun. So I never really, and they're in your backyard. So it wasn't like I spent a lot of money to go do those. So I had like more fun, but like the cost of Loretta's is, I mean, it's almost like you're going on a vacation, but a very stressful vacation.
Well, that's what I tell people. I'm like, at the areas, it's $10 more than a normal race for your paper, and then at the regionals, it's $100 extra. And you were going to go race anyways.
Is that per class though?
Per class.
Yeah,
but still,
I don't have Wasserman money.
But you're going to go race anyways. So you're basically
I'm not. If it's $100 more, I'm not.
Yeah, but there's kids and families that race all 3 regionals. Like, I mean, there was a big thing at Hangtown because dads were pissed that this kid qualified 2 regionals ago, qualified at Washougal, but he's still racing Hangtown because he wanted a number 1 plate, and they weren't pulling out of motos, so they're paying to race, but they're, you know what I mean? Like, it must not be that bad if everyone's still racing, because why do we ride dirt bikes in the first place? Because we love to do it. That's the whole reason I went back to Loretta's, is because I love riding dirt bikes. And that's the whole reason you got into this sport in the first place, is because it's a family fun atmosphere and you love it and it's addicting and you just keep going back and keep going back. And I mean, the competitive side of things brings out the good and bad in people. So yeah, I don't really think people should say, oh, I spent this much money. Okay. Yeah, you did, but you wanted to do that. You wanted to spend that much money, and I think it's money well spent.
Yeah. I just don't think it's that high. We've done it a couple times.
Which blows me away with as cheap as you are.
Exactly. I'm cheap enough that I don't have to go spend $10,000.
That's why you eat the 99-cent hamburger at Wendy's, so that you can go do that.
Hey, I had a Wendy's burger on the way here.
Gross.
Wait, how much is a burger at Wendy's? It's not 99 cents.
No, you can get $4. You can get a hamburger.
4 for 4.
You get a hamburger.
I've been there.
French fries, 4 chicken nuggets, and a drink for $4.
Jeez, I should have known that program. Me and Dave Janolfi stopped. We flew in together. Well, we landed at the same time, so we drove to the ranch together. We landed in Nashville, and we stopped, and he was not happy. He's like vegan and dairy free and all this stuff. And I was like, dude, like, we can go to Bojangles. He's like, who? And I'm like, dude, just all right, I'll take you to somewhere normal. He's like, I mean, I don't really want to eat anywhere. I'm like, we're going to Wendy's. So we got 2 Dave's doubles and just regular, and $26. I was like, what happened to like cheap fast food?
Dude, yeah. They cannot call their, like, McDonald's can't call them value meals anymore because there is no value.
No, there's not.
Yeah. It's as much.
You could crush it at McDonald's when I was a kid.
Yeah.
$1 would take you so far.
Everybody had a $1 menu. Anyways.
I think they still sort of do, but then
it's not the same.
Yeah, but it's like a Happy Meal or a value meal or whatever is like $12 now.
Yeah. Well, or Whataburger.
I'd rather just go get a steak for $20.
Yeah, but listen, guys, we're way off subject. I really want to get.
You don't know what the subject is. I'm the host.
No, listen, I want to get back on track. How do I get a set of Lux and triple clamps? Because your sales pitch was, it could have been tightened up a little bit, but I really want to kind of figure out the whole program on how to get a set of clamps.
Okay, we're going to send you to Luxon MX, and you're going to use promo code MotoXpod to save 10%.
No, see, that's where I thought you were going to chip in, maybe do a sponsorship program, and just show how much the benefit of the clamps are.
So we'll look at the last results?
I already hooked up Kyle Regal with a set.
Oh, shit.
Dang it. When Regal's back racing? You should have said it.
Well, after he saw your performance at Loretta's, he's like, I could do that.
I know, man.
Hey, the funny thing is right now, Jamie and I are both talking about trying Loretta's next year, and he's pretty serious about it.
He saw me ride at Glen Helen, though, when Steve worked me, so he knows what I'm bringing to the table.
That's what I say. So wait until next year if he makes it.
I won't.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yep.
Why do you want to go? Other than you want to make it to the ranch, what interests you in going?
So for me, I've been getting back in shape. Like in the last, I'm on troll training, and I'm riding a lot more than I ever have. And honestly, I've been riding better than I ever have. And because of the troll training thing, Alex is like, well, we need a goal. So pick a race for a goal. And I said, all right, short term, I'm going back to the GNCC at Ironman because I want to finish that, which I did not last year. And then long term, I would like to just try to qualify for Loretta's. Like, I don't even know if I can qualify. I don't care if I qualify. I just want to make an attempt at it because I never have. So that really is all it is.
Okay.
I have no aspirations of going there and doing well. Like, I'd be surprised if I even qualified. But I want to try. Why not? Let's see what happens.
And I want to do it because I don't want my kid to have done something I haven't.
Oh, he's done a lot. He's probably done a lot of things you haven't.
He hasn't made any pro points yet, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough. I mean, those are all good reasons.
But realistically, how do you feel about your performance? Obviously Heath's a great rider. So second overall, nothing wrong with that. That was a good ride.
I give props to Heath 100%. He had everything not going his way, but he had the place dialed in. I mean, he rode really, really good. The first moto, we'll just start. We'll start with Monday. I rode the first practice in 25 plus, and I was like, that didn't feel the way I thought it was going to feel. And I'll kind of elaborate on that a little bit. It just, when you ride, there's a certain level, which sounds weird, but there's a certain level where it's easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's times where it's just like, it doesn't matter how hard I grip, how hard I do my techniques. It feels very, very forced and hard. And that's the way it felt. And I was like, young me, I would have panicked really quick. And I more or less kind of gave a good effort throughout the whole 15 minutes of practice, but I came off and I was like, I didn't really say much just because I hadn't ridden there since 2011 and it was way different. The track layout was similar, but the way they developed the track and the way they prepped the track was way different. So then I went out and open pro, and I made a little bit of a bike change and it went way better. Like I ran first forever in times and then I ended up third in times overall, which was good, right? But I just remember the lap that I put in. I'm like, that required a lot of strength out of me to put that lap in. And I knew I was in shape. I wasn't worried about that. But I couldn't help but think, like, God, that was pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever, fast forward to the motos. My first open pro moto, I picked 32, chip 32, and I got a good start. I think I was in like 5th or 6th on lap 3, and I ended up jumping, like, the bumps are so big there. I don't know if they sneak the Bobcat out in the middle of things and like they build like wall jumps. Like I'm not even kidding. Like there was bumps there that were like, how did that get there and how is that so big?
Yeah, it's not a braking bump. No way.
No, they're doubles. Like they're the size of 10 Commandments. So I jumped one, and when I landed, there was so much sawdust, I stopped, and before I knew it, I was over the bars.
They put sawdust on the track?
Yeah, deep mulch, like black mulch.
That's the first year for that I could think of, huh?
The first year they've gone aggressive on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm trying to give.
Let him tell a story. TJ, jeez.
And went over the bars. Bike hit me in the back of the head, and I got up and I saw stars for probably about a lap, and I'm just like, geez, that wasn't ideal. And then whatever. But just the moral of the story was the track was very unique, and it takes a unique way to attack the track, a unique way to set your motorcycle up. And I think if you haven't been there in previous years and you kind of end up searching a little bit, because let's be honest, it's hard to nail a setup when you never, ever, in my opinion, would ever see a motocross track set up the way that place develops.
Yeah. Yep.
So just kind of chased my tail around a little bit all week. I ended up putting a completely different fork setting in halfway through the week just because I was struggling so much just to hang on to the motorcycle. I was very soft. Like the bike was very soft. I was bottoming out everywhere. And I progressed better each moto. I mean, in the A class, I went 12, 7, 3.
Yep.
And then in 25, I went 2, 2, 4. The last moto in the mud, I lost my goggles the first half a lap. I do not blame Dave Janolfi. He told me do not run roll-offs. I ran roll-offs, and I lost them before the first quarter lap was done. So that kind of jacked me. But overall, my riding, I know that was a long-winded story. My riding, I felt was really good. I was proud of myself the way I fought through on some of my bike stuff. I had to use a lot of strength early in the motos. I got bad starts. I really only got 2 good starts. The first A moto, and then I crashed, and then the last A moto. So I really only got to see kind of some clean air twice.
Yeah, and you really needed good starts at that facility with those guys. So honestly, like, I wanted to kind of give you shit, but yeah, I think overall, for as little as you've been racing and for never really racing there, you did really well. It was really impressive.
Oh, don't say never really raced there. I won 2 titles there.
Yeah,
I raced there
2011.
Yeah, it's been forever though.
2011 was his last year there.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
2003 to 2011. And then, I haven't, you're right. From 2011, it has been a while.
Yeah.
And it's changed a lot, right? Because then it used to be, they would let the track like get hard packed and like ruts and things like that. Now they want it, like, I'm assuming, so they don't have to water it so much. They just add the sand and the mulch to keep the moisture in the ground, but it completely changes the way that the track develops. And then you're not even talking about that. You're going into when it rained. I mean, I know you guys saw the way the gate looked. I mean, I didn't even know what to do. I walked up to the gate and I'm like, I have no idea what to do to the gate. I don't know where to start. Everything's a mud hole.
Yeah.
And then the last Open Pro Sport Moto, I told my buddy, I said, F this. I'm going to the last gate on the outside. So just imagine picking 42 and then going on the last gate on the outside. I was 7th gate pick. And I just said, screw it. There's the only decent gate out there. And I went to the last gate on that outside and ended up coming around 4th. But like, it's a wild event. It's wild.
It was, especially this year with the weather, it added to it. Yeah, I'm glad this wasn't a year that we tried to go.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the things I wanted to ask you, Jacob, was, since it's been so long since you've been to the Redas and you're racing the A class, it was really cool seeing you kind of run with those guys, especially in that last moto. I saw, Bennick had to work to get around you. It was cool to see. So I just kind of wanted you to compare, A class back then to A class now.
A class back then to A class now. It's hard to say. It's not hard to say, just because when I was in 2011, I was a kid, and as a kid, you think, F the world, no one can touch me. I'm the best motorcycle rider in the world, right? And you don't have, in my opinion, you don't have the level of respect that you should, right? To kind of comment on that, because I felt like a lot of my competitors I didn't really respect. So now versus then, I'd say very similar, honestly. You got a bad start back then. It was hard to come through. The field was deep, and the same this year. You got off around 10th. Man, like, to push through those guys on that style track, you had to work your butt off, and you had to have a good pace throughout the whole moto. And the way the track is now, it's harder to come through the pack now than it was in 2011. So I would say it's a little harder now.
Okay.
I got you. Yeah, because he's saying he didn't respect Bogle or Kyle Peters back then.
Right. Like, I just looked at those guys as like more or less enemies, right?
Yeah.
And like, they shouldn't be beating me, or I shouldn't be battling them.
Right.
It was just a young way to think, and a really dumb mentality. And I always kind of raced with a chip on my shoulder. Hence why some of the moves went down in an arena cross. You guys may know.
Yeah.
So that kind of fueled me all the way through amateurs. And then now it's like, you look at it completely different. I respect, obviously, I really get along with pretty much all those guys on the line. I mean, some of them probably didn't even know who the heck I was. I was a guy out there with no graphics on. But, Dax, Juju, Heath, Parker Ross, those guys that I was battling, I mean, just, we were laughing when we came off the track, you know what I mean? And even like, it was weird to race Dax, because I was riding at his track when he was I was in the A class or pro or arena cross, and he was on a 50. So I was like, geez.
Oh, wow.
Well, Gavin Towers
Yeah.
just told us the same thing.
Yeah.
Gavin just because I asked him about it, and I was like, he's like, yeah, man. Like he talked about remembering racing on 50s and watching you race. I was like, yeah, he's an old fart.
Yeah, same with Drew Adams. Drew Adams all week was like, dude, like I raced the arena cross that you were at, and I'm like, when? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, I was on the 50 class. I'm like, shut up, Drew.
Yep. Yeah, it's basically
I'm like,
what Gavin
shut up,
told us,
Drew.
man.
So that's gotta make. I mean, I think that's even makes it even cooler how
Yeah.
getting out there and racing with those
Yeah.
guys. So.
Well, that's one of the things Gavin just said is like get some respect that like down the road, I come back and do this again basically, and like they're still going so fast. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like I don't think you ever. I mean, look at Mike Brown, right? Like you never lose it. Yes, you age and you deteriorate, but you never lose it.
Is that going to be you? Are you going to be a guy?
There is no other Brownie. There's no other Brownie. No.
There's no one like Brownie. No.
Nope.
I mean,
he's a Terminator.
Yeah.
You can't even call him Brownie anymore. He's Terminator.
Cyborg. I like it.
I still like Barry Carston's run. I just need somebody to beat that, and that because Barry, I'm like a hero. That's like a national treasure right there.
I don't have it in me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't have that in me.
Do you think you'll go back again?
Obviously, I'll have to go back and do my job that I currently do, which is scouting and
I mean,
being
racing.
an athlete.
Yeah.
Oh, racing. You're asking me way too soon. It's still too emotional. Still too emotional. I've only had a couple of cheat meals since then.
Right.
I've only had a couple of drinks.
K-Dub's talking about coming back. I mean, it could be a really good year for a lot of pros. Like obviously he'll be in a much more vet class than what you'll be. I mean, he may ride 25, but what's it called? I mean, it could be a lot of fast guys next year. That's why I want
to go.
That's why I want to go. I want to just be there to see it.
Yeah. Oop, still there, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm here. It's funny that you just said maybe he'll race 25. So I was signing up in Open Pro, and Amy Cochran was there, and she was doing the sign up, and she's like, me and her talk at a bunch of the races and stuff, and she's like, thank goodness you're doing Open Pro. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what other class would I race? And she's like, this is gonna be some language. She's like, well, at least you're not a pussy. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I told Mike, quit being a pussy and race 25 plus and quit racing everyone in 40 and 50. He needs to quit being a pussy and go race Open Pro in 25. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, like
that's
where
awesome.
his skill level lies, but like he's still, how old is he? 50, 51, 52?
Yeah. I think I think 51.
Like, sheesh.
He says he wants to do a national.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he would be the oldest guy to qualify. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I think he wants. I think he believes that he can. I mean, probably can.
I bet he could get points right now.
That's what I'm saying. He wants
100%.
No, he can qualify, no problem. He wants to be the oldest person to ever get points.
Lucas Myrtle.
He can do it.
Myrtle fucking sign him.
Yeah, he can do it. He can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched him at
Brownie can
the
do
Pro
it.
Challenge
Terminator.
a couple years ago, and he was running a wild pace.
Yeah. Yeah. He's.
I mean, he beat Heath at the regional straight up every moto.
Oh yeah. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, your day job at Wasserman, how's that going? You're a couple years in now. I feel like a year and a half.
Started June of 21. So yeah, we're getting up there.
2 years. So like, how is it? How do you feel about it? Do you feel like you're figuring it out? Are you still happy you did it?
Well, I'm still pissed you haven't given me a set of Lux on triple clamp. So I'm still working on this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hustling. Here.
I don't have them to give you, but I have a feeling that you could get a set.
I'm about to say you probably have more connections than we do.
No, it's going good. I enjoy everyone that I'm around. I think it's a great platform for me to grow as not only a human being, but as an athlete management and a sports agent. And I don't even like to say sports agent. I like to call myself, I'm in athlete management. I help these guys navigate many things that get thrown their way. And that's something that I feel like I can be really good at. And I'm learning a lot and trying to take in a lot as almost like a sponge and just soak everything up. And it's wild. kind of pinch myself time to time because some of the guys that I'm around, it's like, if you don't step back and look at it, it's like you can kind of almost not even understand the magnitude of what's happening, right? And I was a guy that was a privateer for Cycle Trader in 2019, and then for AJE in 2020, and then got a really bad injury, and then to wake up in the morning and have some of the phone calls that I have now, and the good people that are around me, it's pretty surreal. So extremely thankful for all the opportunities that this sport has given me. A lot of people are like, oh, this sport's brutal, and it is. It's very tough, and there's a lot that you can learn from it. It's nothing in life has ever taught me what motocross has taught me, and just to continue to be true to who you are and never change. And if you truly want to do something, I think you can do it in this world. And I'm very, very set on forging my path. I work alongside Lucas and all the athletes that come along with him. And I really want to have a long career in this business, and one day hopefully we could be doing this podcast again. And I could tell you, man, like I've got a lot of clients, and I've changed a lot of things that I feel could be better. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Really, honestly, I'm happy for you, man. You're a good dude. Really, really happy for you, the career path that you've taken. I'm not super stoked that we don't get to talk to Hunter and Jet anymore, but maybe we'll figure that out one day.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to, I text Michael. I text him. He likes to put on his thing. He texts me, be better. And then he can't even get the most important award at Loretta's right. He said that, Gavin Towers won it and put it out on Vital. And I told him that was incorrect news. And he thought I was lying, but I just told him, I said, you need to be better.
That's good.
I said, be better.
Did he put that Gavin won the Horizon Award?
I guess.
Yeah, he said, and the 2023 winner of the AMA Horizon Award is Gavin Towers. And I saw it, and I was like, hey, or I didn't say, hey, I just said Michael in all caps, and we kind of went back and forth. And he's like, wait, I thought you were like messing, like, I thought I was actually did something wrong. And I sent him a photo of Dax. I'm like, this doesn't look like Gavin Towers, but I just was just trying. What if maybe I was wrong?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know.
So we need to be better. We need to be better, Doc.
Everybody needs to be better. It's little improvements every day.
Okay. Well, if I don't have a set of Lux and triple clamps at the house in like a couple weeks, I'm just going to text you, be better.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll work on that, and we'll get better. I promise we'll be better.
All right. Well, I appreciate you boys asking me to be on. I don't go on podcasts really anymore. Well, I don't get asked to go on podcasts anymore. So it was nice to talk some junk and talk about my experience at the ranch. I did spend one night at the beer tent quickly.
Okay.
It wasn't as hot up as I thought it was going to be. Like, there were some weird things going on there for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. There were some local things going on in the backwoods of Tennessee, but it wasn't a place that I really would like to kind of hang my hat on and say, hey, I was there.
Well,
maybe,
I don't believe
maybe Dark Side, that was more your style, but my style was just like, I need to be in the AC chilling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to experience it obviously next year for at least once, maybe hang out, maybe Weege would come down and show me the ropes, but yeah, that's probably what you miss. You need Weege there.
Weege was just running the whole show.
Dude, he's the man.
Weege and my buddy from North Carolina, Zach Karen, they built a freaking massive announcer's booth in the middle.
Saw that,
which was cool to see. And they did it. They did it.
Yeah, those guys did a killer job. Kellen Brower. Why am I blanking on the? They got Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly cracks me up.
He's hilarious. He's so quick.
Yeah.
I don't even like Kevin Kelly, but I
you
think
didn't
he's
even
funny.
mention Wes Kane. Like,
well, I wasn't done yet.
God, Darkside doesn't like Wes Kane. I'm going to put a threat out there.
Yeah, right now.
Does not
on
like
Vital.
Wes Kane.
All right, we're hanging up on you, Jacob Hayes. Thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it. We'll work on getting you some Lux on triple clamps.
There we go.
All right.
Take care.
See you, bud.
Bye.
Bye. Jacob Hayes, brought to you by Luxon MX. Okay, let's get Michael Lizzie just texted be better. We got a couple topics to run through these last segments so we can wrap this thing up. Let's do these relatively quickly. X Brand forum check-in. X Brand has quietly grown into one of the premier goggle choices available, using some of the most grueling conditions by the GNCC riders, including Lyndon Snodgrass, Bryson Neal, Craig DeLong, and many others. Visit xbrand.com, go to your local dealership, and ask for X Brand, distributed through WPS, or if you're going to be at Swan Saturday, if you're from Texas, I'll be set up out there with X Brand.
Night racing.
Yeah, night race, open practice, and then District 41 Sunday. I will not be there Sunday. It's going to be hard enough to be there without being on a ride. But
yeah,
the X Brand forum check-in that I wanted to touch on sticks with Loretta's topic. Lung Butter put the topic X Pros racing Lorettas. We've heard a lot of people have problems. They get mad that they got to go out and race Mike Brown, Jeff Emig, Jacob Hayes, Ben LeMay. What do you guys think about there being like the fact that they race classes that you and I might also race if we chose to race the plus 50 class?
They have rules.
I personally don't care because I don't expect to win anyway. And that's what the rules are. So I don't.
There's 4 vet classes like that, and you can just ride the ones that don't allow somebody with points.
Yeah. But if you're 50, right, that's the oldest one there is the plus 50. So at that point, you would be racing Mike Brown, and in a few years, some of these other guys.
Well, then race the 45.
But there's only like 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't care.
There's only like 2 or 3 guys in those vet classes that are like that.
Yeah.
And then the other 40.
But that means you're not going to win. More than likely, you're not going to win. So if your goal, let's say like Don Bichelia. Don Bichelia is capable of running up front in a lot of those classes. Should he be mad that he has to go race Mike Brown?
Well, that would be like whenever he was trying to come up as a young pro or whatever.
Yeah,
he mad because he had to race? I mean, I'm not
saying
you
go race a national. You're gonna be like Jet Lawrence shouldn't be in this 450 class.
That's different. That's a pro national. This is an amateur national.
I was talking about coming up as an amateur, saying, well, look at like James Stewart on a 125 back in the amateur days, just murdering everybody. It's not fair.
Like that's the only thing that the fact that it is the Lorettalands amateur national, and these guys aren't amateurs. I don't care if they don't have their pro card anymore. They are not amateurs. I see a point there where it'd be kind of cool if they had a pro class, but damn, things are already long enough. They barely got the whole series in this last year.
Then why if that's going to be the case, then Daxton and all those guys couldn't have gone and done the
Well, that's an odd rule too, that they can go race a pro race and come back. Mathis complains about that all the time, and it is the rule, so it's like, okay, well, it's the rule. Too bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad about it, but it does seem a little off.
So Mike Brown can't go race any other amateur local race. He can't go race the plus 40 pro.
That's the argument. Right. Well, but that's a pro. Like,
but it's
I guess it's
open pro sport.
But it's
amateur pro. It's amateur pro race.
I'm not arguing with you because I agree. I don't. Really
You're racing the fastest guys in the country in that age group, and Mike Brown is the fastest 50+ guy in the age group.
Make Loretta's in 2024 is because those guys were in the class.
Right. Sure. I mean, that was a bunch of spots. That was 3 or 4 spots that could have been yours.
Could have been mine.
I mean, that's actually not a bad point. Like you take away there's only Mike Brown the plus 25 class. We take away Ben LeMay, Mike Brown, Jacob Hayes.
Well,
that's 3 more guys that are like our type of riders that maybe get in.
Well, I'm talking to JT Cooley, one of our buddies. He's 30 this year. He turns 30, so he can ride plus 30 next year. But he was like, he had always said I'd have to wait until I'm 30 because there's no way I'll ever make it in 25.
Never qualify,
in 25. So.
Yeah, I mean, I see the arguments, but I just kind of like, well, look, this I know what the rules are. So I know what I'm getting into if I decide to go.
There's just fast dudes out there, and if you suck, you suck, man. I suck. I know that I suck. Like it's
my class doesn't have pros in it, and I'm still probably not going to make it.
What's crazy to me is guys like a lot of people won't know this, but locally there's a guy John Moeller who whenever I ride with him at a local race or I've been in the same class with him plus 25, plus 30, stuff like that. I'm not anywhere close to that guy, and he goes and he can probably top 5 or barely top 10 the plus 25. I'm like, those dudes are just fast. It's just plain and simple. It just is what it is.
You have to know that's what it is.
If you're going to try to go there, then you have to set your expectations and then be like, look, like okay, those guys are going to be the top 5. If I can go and get 15th or 20th, then that's a win for me. That's really good. That's exceeded, what I probably should do. So you have to look at it like that. Just set realistic expectations. And in 2023, people don't like doing that, and so they cry on social media. And so,
but I don't think he's 23. They've always cried about it.
Yeah,
just louder now, maybe.
Yeah.
Motul was founded in 1853, and it's a 170-year-old company that's present in over 160 countries globally. When you're cleaning your bike, when you're done, you got it washed, and it's all beautiful sitting in your shop, you got to hit it with the Motul Shine and Go product. It gives the shine back. Motul E10 Shine and Go spray is our go-to detailer for all of our bikes. Motul E10 Shine and Go spray cleans and restores plastic to like-new conditions while leaving a protective film that repels dirt and grime, and it smells like citrus. It really does smell amazing. It makes the bike look brand new. It's awesome, awesome product. Hit up your local dealership and ask for Motul Shine and Go, or go to shopmotul.com. Use code VITAL20 to receive 20% off your order, $50 or more. I thought you were about to say something. Motul email. We're going to do one question. This is weird. Jeff, he just wants to know what the first job we had was. So, Scotty, what was your first job? It's not motor related, but most of these aren't. Don't care.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Working for my dad, really, because he had his own laboratory. But then after that, I was an unloader at Lowe's, truck unloader.
An
at
unloader.
Lowe's.
So you didn't load, you unloaded only.
Unloaded.
Only unloaded.
Yeah, well, why would you don't send stuff back to the warehouse?
You really never? They don't ever send anything back, or
Not enough to load
Yeah,
it. Have to
okay.
have a whole crew to do it.
All right, fair enough. There you go. Scott, TJ?
As a bricklayer.
First job was a bricklayer.
Well, like apprentice or whatever.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's like a kid. My first job was like paper route, and then
I was
You had a
15.
rolling
paper route?
papers.
I was 15.
Yeah.
I was
I used to do it
15.
on a bicycle.
Started working
Yeah.
for my uncle, who I had to live with, or his great uncle. I had to live with him during this time, and he would wake up every morning. He didn't have electricity in his house or running water. Everything was gas lamps and like an outhouse. And then he'd wake up and open a Coca-Cola, take a big swig out of it, top it off with bourbon, and then that thing stayed full all day long as he would drink it down and top it. By the end of the day, it was just straight bourbon, and he would finish it off. And he couldn't talk right, and so he'd be like, "I am mud over here." He was asking for mud, and I'm a skinny little kid with a wheelbarrow through sand. And
How many times did you tip it over and dump it out?
I don't ever remember doing it. I
Okay.
probably did,
Yeah.
but I don't ever remember doing that. But I am mud over here, and like, yeah,
I've done a little bit of construction work. Those
we can tell you're soft.
fair enough. Yeah, those I am soft compared to those guys, dude. Like getting out there and roofing all day long.
I did that when I was like 16.
Oh,
with my
Dude,
dad,
I'm
yeah.
so out on.
Framing,
I'm so far
roofing.
gone on all that. Yeah, dude. I'd
Those
rather
roughnecks
starve.
out there and right
yeah.
now on the rigs.
Oh yeah,
my
that's not
God.
me, dude.
I'll tell you my first job in a second, but
Call me Charmin.
ML
I'm
responded two things. First, about what the managers look for in the mud races, et cetera. He said that Daniel Blair told me mud motos meant way less in his eyes. He's not really weighing any of those results.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, and then he said, I would like to point out that Davey Coombs told me that Gavin Towers won the award. I don't see any proof of that.
I mean,
I
So
don't
who
know if
won?
there is any proof.
Sounds like
but
lies.
that's what he's sticking with.
Who won?
Daxton.
Daxton Bennett.
Yeah, he went like 1-1-1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, my first job that I remember would be, I used to babysit a lot, like even when I was 10 or 11, because my sister was 10 years older than me, so I babysat her. And
Oh,
then,
if you get down to that, I'm
but
all
then
yours.
some of my mom's friends would have me babysit their kids because I was really good with babies. So
Yeah.
like at 11 and 12 years old, I was babysitting. I also had paper route.
But like we're talking about a job where you actually
Yeah, I
got a
know, because my mom
paycheck
told me to
kind
get
So
my
does
ass
paper
out
route
there.
not count either?
of- I think paper route would.
Okay, then paper route would be the first because I would do that every morning.
Remember the game Paperboy?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a
Oh.
solid game. That
And
was
in
was a great
Hawaii,
game.
they used, I don't know that they still do, but when I was there, they would have people stand like at red lights and at like mini marts, and you would set up papers and sell the paper. Just like,
Oh, yeah.
so I did that
Houston.
at like 14 years old. I would,
Was this in Cali or
this
Texas?
is Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Hawaii?
remember? That's why he said
So
in
I would
Hawaii.
I would like at 13 or
You
14
lived in Hawaii?
for 5 years. Yeah. My dad was stationed at Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
So,
learn something new
but
every
I
day.
would go down to
then
literally
it
to
bombed.
a street corner, like a red light,
'Cause
and
he's that old.
hand out papers. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what he said.
Go ahead.
No, because they don't have paper routes, and like Tyler didn't have paper routes. It was just
I
some
bet
old,
they did when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, it was some old dude in a Cutlass with a cigarette and a Mountain Dew just
yeeting
throw-
them over his car.
No, I literally had the bag over the bicycle and would like.
Oh no, that was not in Tyler, bro.
Some dude in like the car I'm driving now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, couple more. Prox. I've been told to call it Prox.
It's Pro X.
It is not the actual name, and
Why
Michael.
do we get derailed by this every week?
I don't know, but Michael was like, "I'd prefer you to call it Prox because that's what the company wants," even though the guy in America said Pro X.
I'm gonna send him an email.
Yeah, you do that. Prox is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road, supporting teams like Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Ampro Yamaha, and SLR Honda. Prox has been dedicated to supplying quality components since 1975, from complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance like filters, chains, and sprockets. Prox aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. Find Prox at your local dealership or your local dealer or online retailer. Visit prox-usa.com to search for parts for your bike. Prox highs and lows. Who wants to go first?
Highs and lows of what?
I mean, in the last 2 weeks, races. I mean, there's been GPs.
My low is that I haven't been able to be here and be ridiculed and ostracized by you guys. I've really missed that in my life.
And it's been a high for me that we've been able to ridicule and ostracize you tonight. So, okay. What's your high?
High was, I don't know, come back to me.
Okay.
Go to his low number first.
TJ,
because I don't really think about it.
It's a part of the show.
Of Loretta.
And then I think about it when you ask
since
me.
you've been on the show last. I don't know. Honestly, in the last week.
The lows have been fantasy, but I mean,
okay, we'll go with that.
God, I
hate
high? The high is it's almost over, and I'm never playing again.
Okay, I got a couple for you as I always do. So, my high was Simon Lagenfelder at Finland. Lagenfelder.
Is it Lagen or Langen?
I think it's Lagen or Lagen.
I don't know.
It's German. I think.
Lagen.
So maybe it's Lagenfelder.
No, Lagenfelder.
Doesn't matter. You know who the hell I'm talking about.
Yep.
His ride in the second moto coming from like. The farthest I saw him down was 14th, and he came back to second. It was amazing. That was a fantastic ride. My other high I just thought of, because when you said my high, I thought about getting high. And on the plane ride home from Italy,
you got high?
One of the other guys gave me a hydrocodone. And, dude, I have never been so high.
While you were high?
Like, dude, I've taken hydrocodones many times after surgeries. Never been lit like that.
It probably wasn't hydrocodone.
It was hydrocodone. It definitely was. And I was.
You say you got it from some guy on the plane?
But one of the other. One of the other.
It was not a hydrocodone.
No, it's definitely a hydrocodone. It's 100%.
If you're not used to taking stuff like that, like if I never take pain pills like that, and if I do,
I haven't many years. But
you're lucky you didn't get sick.
They had never affected me before like that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then my low is my broke ribs, and Geertz breaking his collarbone.
See, that's messed up, man. Your low is that you hurt yourself. You're thinking about yourself and not the fact that you failed to do the job that you were graciously given to do.
What a dick.
That's where shows where your heart's at.
Yeah, it's on me being hurt.
Yeah.
Since its inception almost 12 years ago, 6D Helmets has been dedicated to the relentless pursuit of brain protection. From the original ATR-1 to its successor, the ATR-2, the goal was to develop a revolutionary design concept utilizing creative, forward-thinking technology that would change the market and improve the safety capabilities of the sports helmet. The helmet is the most important piece of protective equipment you will purchase, so visit 6dhelmets.com or go to your local dealership and try one on. You will not be sorry. 6D picks for Unadilla. I want your 450 winners, and I want your 250 podium. We never got your high.
My high was that I've actually been really working on my relationship.
Like he's still trying to figure this out.
No, I'm working on my relationship with God and, praying and reading the Bible more. So that's been really cool. That's been my high.
Okay. That was not what I was expecting, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go with 450 winner first? I have my picks if you want me to go first.
I go.
TJ.
Jet will win again.
Yep. Jet. And your
overall, I think he loses the moto.
Okay. Yeah. Overall is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
250 podium.
And then it's going to be, it's going to be Deegan for the win.
Mike's about to fall. I was like, why is it moving?
Deegan for the win. The kids just,
yeah, that's good. I'm really, because I was not expecting the. What was the last round we had? Millville.
Yeah.
I was not expecting the Millville that he had. That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then we're RJ for second, and Lawrence third.
Nice. Scotty.
Barsha for the win.
Wow.
No, I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go Chase. I think Chase finally
Too
gets it
fucking
done.
late. I put Barsha.
Barsha's your man now.
I was okay. Sorry, I didn't
And
realize.
if he does win,
I didn't
you're the
realize there was
winner.
no humor allowed on this show anymore.
I changed it.
Good to know.
I changed it. Okay.
Okay. For 250 podium, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see if he can do it 2 weeks in a row. Deegan, Hunter. Let's go, Cooper.
That'd be good. Yeah, Cooper is going to be good there because
And
he is
you-
all
All
right.
right.
That direction.
I went
That's a good one.
Chase, Hunter, Hayden, RJ. So, all right.
Okay.
That's the 60.
Cool.
picks.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to get to email some of our listeners emailed their picks.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long show with 4 guests. I do want to remind everybody, you can email us at motoxpodshow@gmail.com to give us your 60 picks, to give us your procs, highs and lows.
Look at their website.
Yeah, that's their logo.
It's Pro-X.
That's their. Listen, I interviewed the guy
From
Procs America, and he said we say Pro-X, but their real name in UK or whatever is Procs.
Okay.
So I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
Michael Lindsay
is the boss.
is in charge of what I'm doing, and he said to say it Procs, even if he's wrong. I mean, he was wrong about the Horizon winner, so he's probably wrong about this. I don't know what to tell you. Vital MX, guys. We're doing our best. Be better.
Burn it down.
Oh my god.
So the Procs Horizon Award winner is Daxton Bennett. Juju Bomar. Juju
I
Bomar.
won the Horizon Award this year. I wasn't even there, and I won it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Hey, hold on. So on that, isn't that supposed to be
Just
like?
trying to go eat dinner.
Isn't that supposed to be like a thing that it's like not just it's when did it turn into such a results based thing? I thought it was always
been.
I thought it was like who had the best, like maybe had to come through the pack the most or had like
Didn't
more.
Avery Long win it last year, and he didn't have the best results last year.
I thought it was more about
Long won
the rider
I don't
and not
think
the
Avery-
result.
I thought it's it's the winner. It's always been.
I thought it was more about
Maybe is
sportsmanship.
there another award that I'm not thinking of? Because
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
Avery Long won an award last year.
We need to talk to Weege.
I thought it was more of like a sportsmanship award, not just a results based thing.
As far as I know, it's always been sport.
Well, we're not going to look it up tonight. I don't know what to tell you. Hey, you know what? If you know the answer,
Braswell won it.
that's who I'm thinking of. Caden
he won.
Braswell.
And he won.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
And somebody in the chat said he lost his ride.
Yeah, we were in touch with because he basically was filling in for Barsha.
Right.
Barsha's back, and they didn't keep him on. Yeah, which just seems a little odd to a lot of us. Like we're like, well, he's having good results, but yeah, they.
You think it was good results?
I think he was doing pretty well. Like they weren't podiums by any means, but I think he was doing better than expected.
I don't think he was doing good enough for a factory team to keep him.
I just thought they keep him on for the last 3.
Yeah,
Like, why not? But they didn't. So yeah, that's. Anyway, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. If you want to get involved, you want complaints, criticisms, we want to get your emails on questions you want to know about us or what we thoughts on racing, etc. Send them over. Hit up our fantasy team on Pulp MX Fantasy. We have a MotoXpod Show fantasy team. We'll have a winner for that. We got prizes out for the winner of the Supercross series.
Damn sure won't be me.
It will not be me either. Other than that, I want to thank all of our sponsors, Racetech, Boyesen, Procs, X-Brand, Guts Racing, FXR, 6D, Luxon, Motul, WSA. I want to thank all of our guests, not Jacob Hayes, but Gavin Towers, Jeremy Fappani, Kyleigh Stallings, TJ, Scotty. There may be a pre-record next week on Tuesday night that we'll post Wednesday night. We're trying to figure that out because I'm leaving for Budds Creek pretty early. But other than that, we are out of here.